We live. Just got back from the park, and my stomach is fucked up because I because I ate these chicken wings I knew I shouldn't have ate. So I might have to make a bathroom break throughout the stream. C-Boy, what's up? C-Boy for life, CGI life. Mo, what's up, man? What's up? Thanks for tuning in. My stomach's hurting now. So let's see how long I last. But I went to the park. I took my son to the park. There's only one park I could take him to. And it's pretty much on the other side of Prague, right? That's the only park I could take him to where if I take him there, he won't like immediately try to run out the park and because he wants to like run around on his own. That's the only park I could take him to where if I take him in there, he like takes to everything. Like he wants to go actually. Oh, it says I'm live now. Hang on, let me just go on my phone real fast just to make sure I'm live. But one thing, well, I guess I can keep going. One thing I've noticed is, well, I've noticed today is, hang on. Okay, yeah, I'm good. Like yeah, all the boys were like off playing like with some sport or like actually building some shit, and the girls were always like just kind of walking around creating like a social environment, man. And it that just really reinforced what I always said. When boys are growing up, we're off, playing with toy cars and toy trucks or like playing with balls, and girls usually are more focused on sitting down and having interpersonal conversations, that are only like that are about showing attention kind of thing, right? And right before I started this live stream, I was just thinking one area that I am happy for about social media, even though I really don't like social media, even though I use it, I think it's awful. One area that I do like about social media is um is it is bridging the gap for men to be able to communicate more, right? Even though a lot of like I said, a lot of social media does end up these echo chambers of people just like just kind of say everybody says the same shit. Everybody just finds whatever other people agree with them on and just kind of like focus on these groups kind of thing. Even though that will happen, I think it is helping. I think there is a benefit for men in social media in the sense of again men can now bridge the gap to actually talk and communicate on some level much more than any time before in history, right? Because like I said, women have always throughout history, women have always created little women's circles and started talking and and developed friendships and theories and reasonings on how to manipulate men. They've always done this historically. That's literally all every woman's magazine you see in a grocery store is literally based off of that. They just took it and made it a magazine. Right? Like, but men's magazines would rarely actually be about true talking about shit. Men's magazines be about making tables or motorcycles or leather boots or some shit like that, right? Some shit that really ain't got nothing to do with bitches. It's just some shit men just have interest in. Whereas women's magazines is always going to come back around to how do I be prettier? How do I get fucked more by men? How do I get men's attention? What do I do with men if my man doesn't do this? Women have always focused more on strictly becoming more attractive for men, whereas men will go off and focus on what men just find interesting, which is fine. But after so long, now you have where we are today, where men have just collectively become completely confused in their real position with women, and women gaining a huge step up from online dating. This internet and online dating just like completely threw the balance off of men and women. Online dating, social media, internet, really, it was really online dating was what did it. Online date, because I think if online dating had never taken off, um, women collectively would not. I think it would have taken a lot longer for women to really learn what they can just get away with just because they're women, kind of thing, like in the world. Um, but yeah, I think social media is good that so that men can at least communicate more and get more genuine, philosophies or perspectives and be able to apply it to their life in some form. At least to get the men thinking about, the realities of shit, right? So I am happy for social media about that. What's up, Rinko? What's up, Elijah Pippin? What's up, Seaboy? You remember the live call-ins? That shit was fun. I was gonna start doing that, man. But the thing is, I never know how much longer I'm gonna do a live stream. But I'll probably start doing that soon. Not tonight, because my stomach's hurting right now. But it's getting better, though. I ate some fucking chicken that I shouldn't have ate. The only food I ever get sick off is chicken. I never get sick off of pork, beef, sushi, nothing else. I only get stomach aches when I eat chicken. It's usually like, chicken that I know is kind of fucked up, but still chicken. It's the only one. Milk and magnesia does well for upset. So word up, Grave Rave. I'm not good with medicines, so that's seriously news for me. I'm not really good with medicines at all. As I try not to take them. I remember one time I took some nose spray when I was a kid, and I didn't know, like, it was just like a bottle, like a squeeze bottle with the nose spray part like on top, and I just squeezed like the whole bottle like in my nose. I didn't know that you just squirt a little bit of it, and it cleared my nose, but my nose was completely shut off for like literally the next week. Like I couldn't even breathe out of my nose. Like it completely backfired and like fucked my nose up. So ever since then, I really tried to not use medicine, just out of that fear something like that would happen again. But yeah. Sparkling water. Sparkling water sometimes fucks me up. It depends. The only sparkling water that doesn't fuck me up is like the relatively like better quality, like the Matoni, I think it's called, or the what's that other one called? It's like Matoni. I think it's something like Matoni, Matani or something like that. But they're usually, I can't think of the name of the other one. Let's look it up real fast. Sparkling water. Pellegrino. This is it. This is my main go-to for sparkling water. If it's not the one on the left, Pellegrino. If it's not this one, let's make it bigger. That's what she said. This is the only sparkling water that can. Oh, hang on. That's the only sparkling water that doesn't make me, that I'm usually completely fine off of. Doesn't make me sick at all. This one, and there's a Matoni brand or something like that. Yeah, this. This is like second up. I'll fuck with this, and I'm usually fine. But yeah, any other sparkling water, there's a chance I might be fucked up later. It pretty much registers the same as beer now for me. I just can't. Like it just fucks. I just get stomach pains off of it. But I do like Matoni and Pellegrino. I used to buy a lot of Pellegrino actually. And I remember when I went to North America, Pellegrino was a little more. It was definitely more expensive in North America, and so I quit paying for that. I tried to get the generic brand of sparkling water. It was horrible, and I think it was in cans too, in Kroger's. No, that was awful. So you got Pellegrino is like Pellegrino or Matoni, but I would highly recommend Pellegrino first. Pellegrino is like, if I'm even pronouncing it right, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But Pellegrino is by far the best one, at least for me. No stomach ache, none of that shit. And doesn't like get these weird, awful like burp feelings or anything. I don't know what they do to it, but they do a great job. But yeah, let's start this last stream. This is Rich Cooper. I remember why I used to watch Entrepreneurs in Cars, and this was actually recommended to me. So I seen this. I was like, yeah, let's do this. But yeah. I took my son to the park, and he fell asleep. He slept for like fucking 3 hours, and they just left. He's been sleeping later. I was going to live stream yesterday. I was here with him yesterday. It was just me and him, and he slept. He took a nap from like 6 to like 8:30 yesterday, because I was going to live stream yesterday. But he took a super like I was literally sitting right. I'm in my bed now. I was literally sitting right here talking to my dad, and I thought, like, he was watching a tablet next to me, chilling, and I look over, he fell asleep while I was talking to my dad, right? I was like, because I thought he was just gonna stay up. At this point, I thought he was just gonna stay up, till you go to a normal bedtime. He fell asleep. So, and he slept till like 8:30. So we woke up, we hung out for a little bit, then I gave him a bath, and luckily he fell back because he went to bed probably around 10:30, 11. But he's starting to take later naps for some reason. I don't know. Something I don't know. I don't know why. AD, what is the most common seasoning that Czechs use? Well, I have to go into my cabinet. God, my stomach's hurting too. I'm gonna go. Actually, let's go. I'll pull out my seasoning. I don't like to use seasonings, but Sheeta, my child's mother, does. So she buys all this seasoning. So let's go. Let's see if I can find. What is paprika? This is just. Oh wait, let me make the screen bigger so you guys can see. But because I do have Czech seasoning here, I definitely do have it here, but I don't know the name of it. I can never remember the name of it. But this is just pepper, just paprika. It's just pepper. I bought that. Skorzice, which is this is cinnamon. Yeah, this is cinnamon. Skorzice is cinnamon. But the Czech seasonings, I hope I can even find it. We got so many. She really likes. I don't know what this is. I forget what this is. I don't think it's cumin. I could swear I remember the name of cumin. Oh, this is one. This is a popular one. They like to put this in soups. So it looks like black pepper, but it's not. It's not. It looks like black pepper, but it's not. It's like just this little black ball that you literally just put it in a soup and just boil it. And you're not supposed to eat it because I just work through it and eat it anyway because it's already in the soup. But you're not supposed to eat it. You're just supposed to just leave it in there and just seasons the soup. And I end up eating it because I just don't feel like picking it out like watermelon seeds. When I do eat watermelon, I just eat the seeds because even though I hate the seeds, I just eat it. This is curry, but they spell it. This I guess is how they spell it. Let's see. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom. My stomach is hurting so bad right now. That fucking chicken fucked me up. There's black pepper. I was looking for this black pepper. I bought 3 other packs of this shit, and I just found it. Because I got salt and pepper grinder. I grind my own salt and pepper like a old person. I bought 3. Here's the other packs of black pepper I bought because I couldn't find that one. This is just some grill seasoning. I'm just really just showing this just because it has their spelling on it. But yeah. Oh, here's one that they like, but we don't use it. But this is a popular seasoning, and this is one, but we don't use a lot. But that is a popular seasoning here. I think I actually wanted it because she doesn't like it. Yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna take a bathroom break because my stomach is fucked up. So let me make this screen, and I'll be back in maybe 5 minutes, and we're gonna start the video. All right, so I'm gonna put the trailer on, but I'm gonna be back to do the video. I just gotta go hopefully get the last of the pain out of my stomach with one more decent shit. So I'll be back. Hello, we're back. And I feel better. I feel better. I feel better. You know what I'm thinking about Richard Pryor stand up where he says, like where he talks about taking a shit. And he says, when sometimes when your brain when your brain and your asshole don't communicate and you get like false readings and shit. I just had a scenario where like, because my stomach's hurting, so I want to push out all this shit. Cause like it's just weird logic that like you feel like I don't know where the logic even comes from, but it feels like if you shit, like that's like I don't know how can I make an example, but like if you just shit, the pain will immediately go away, so you just want to keep pooping to get all the pain out, as if the pain is like literally directly correlated with shit, right? Like a gas tank or some shit, right? Like you mean, but it hits a point where like you don't have any more shit left, but like you feel like you do, but you don't, and it's like your asshole's not communicating with your brain properly to be like, no, like you don't, like, no, you really don't have any more shit, but your butthole saying yes we do, but your brain is saying, trying to tell you no you don't, and like nobody's really communicating with, so you just kind of just keep pushing. Fuck around and give yourself an anal prolapse because your brain and your asshole is not communicating properly, right? I just had that situation happen right now. But my stomach does feel a lot better, so that's a plus. And she said she was watching the last live stream when he was bouncing on the bed because she missed him. And she was watching the live stream. And so I said something. I don't know. But if you're watching now, well, when she came over to get him, I said, I can show you text messages. When she came over to get him, I said, I'm pooping hard because I ate some bad chicken. Here it is. Let me see. I don't put, shit. I don't want to. I wrote, where are you? At 5:56, I wrote, where are you now? She says, I just got off the tram to get here. I said, okay, I'm pooping hard now. Write me when you get here. He's sleeping. But the reason I said write me when he gets here is because there's this like doorbell outside and it can be pretty fucking loud. It's like, but it's good so you can hear it from anywhere in here, but it's loud and he was asleep. So I didn't want to wake him up. And the toilet is like literally like right next to the front door. So I wanted her to write me so she wouldn't ring the bell to get in. Because she has the keys, but the keys don't, like if my keys are in the key lock, the key, like if she tries to get in, sometimes the keys won't turn. So I said, okay, so just being prepared, I told her like if you need to get in and the keys don't work, just write me so I can like hop off the toilet real fast, open the door. But my stomach this is the best my stomach's felt in about 3 hours now. You keep trying to if you keep trying to push, you get hemorrhoids. Yeah. Hey, D, did you spray, bro? Now, if it's just me, I don't. Well, now, to be fair, if it's just me, I don't care to spray unless it was just like bad, like a real bad smell. You mean like? But if it's just me, I don't care because I'm not. The smell doesn't come in here. Like the way the airflow works, it goes like over there anyway. So for example, like when it's cold in the wintertime, like this room will always be much colder if you leave like 2 doors open on the other side. Like if you leave that door open, the airflow is going to come in here and this room would be so much colder than if you just leave the door. Well, you don't, I'd have to draw it out to show you, but it doesn't look like it makes sense, but it definitely, like it's the way the airflow is. To answer your question, no, I didn't spray. That was a long explanation. I look forward to, well, thank you, Cosmic Variant. I look forward to you too, man. I look forward to be able to even be able to communicate in some way with, with people I would never have met if it wasn't for YouTube. Right. But yeah. So so let's see. Well, let's get started on this because this is a long video, and I'm not gonna do this entire video.
For another episode of Ladies Night, Moff. You're up for the intros, brother.
Hey, ladies, how we doing? Just like we talked about before the show, let's do a quick round of intros. Name, age, what you do, where you're from, current relationship status, and what was the reason you agreed to come on to the show tonight. Let's just go with Miss Diaz here.
I am 39. I just moved back to Tampa from Western New York, like Farmtown, New York. And I just moved back last summer. I am super single, and I have just been connecting with some of your Instagram stuff and decided it would be cool to jump on here.
Super single. Okay. Maria, go ahead.
Well, I'm Maria. I'm 29. I'm from Mexico City. Been here 10 years, and I'm divorced, but I've been single for 4 years. And I decided to join this because I feel like there's a lot of girls that are going through the same things that we are, like the same struggle with guys. So it's good to like have this chance to talk about it.
Okay, this is gonna be hard for me to do because I'm not in the mood to do this shit. One, and two, this is gonna be hard for me to do because, like, I tell her, man, I tell my child's mother, I tell her, like, it get like the older women get, the more awkward the entire situation just gets when the older women get, right? There is no smooth way most women age. Very few women age well and gracefully. Very few. And it doesn't matter about money, job, none of that. None of that matters. The reason why this is gonna be hard for me, and I tell her these things. If she's watching, she knows what I'm getting ready to say. It just gets so awkward the older women age because, okay, women always want, in the end, overall, for real, women always kind of want the same thing out of a guy, right? And the same look and all that shit like that, right? She's like okay, an 18-year-old girl can always find like pretty much any age range of man attractive as long as the man can, genuinely fend for himself and all, and he has those traits, right? Any woman of those age, any woman from the age of let's go back to like fucking to those Roman Catholic times. Any girl from the age of 14 and up can essentially fuck any range of guy who's older than her, right? Who is more established than her. Like, she doesn't see the whole age thing and all that doesn't really apply in the same way as it does like the other way around, right? So the reason why it gets awkward is because the older women get, they weirdly try. It's like, okay, how do I explain this? So, like when a girl is like 20, 25 or something like that, right? She's young and her skin is still vibrant and youthful and perfectly plump and, and all that shit like that, right? She's a vibrant young girl, right? And let's say like you really like her. See, in these ages, that vibrant young girl can still pull off being dainty and perfect and try to walk like she's like this perfect princess to sell you this dream of, this bullshit dream that she's a perfectly stacked together princess who doesn't poop and all this. She's like, she can sell that well, right? Well, when women start getting older, it just starts to look awkward because now she's been used up. She's been around the block and she's still trying to walk around like, oh, she's still trying to walk around like, I don't even sneeze. And she's like fucking like 52, right? Like, so it doesn't, none of this shit matches up, right? But then it's like, if she's not that, then she's too fucking butch or she's too bitter. And it's like the whole thing the older women it just gets more awkward, right? So the girl on the bottom right, I think she said she's 40, right? And she's at that range now. Like she's officially there. Here's the thing, I don't mean this to hurt her feelings. I don't know her at all, and I don't care to hurt her. Right? I'm only saying this as a generality in the world. A woman in her position, her best hope is that she can put on makeup and still at least look like she's 25 still. Right? And at least try to use that in her arsenal in selling herself, right? Because there is, when you look at a 25, I say at max the 30-year-old woman, and then any woman pretty much over 30. Let's just use 30. Coach RedPill, I think he used 25. I would say 30. Right? when you look at a woman up until the age of 30, you can look at her and genuinely feel happy in seeing a future. You can see a future. Okay, let's do this. Let's try this. 25-year-old woman, right? So let's just use any one of these women. Doesn't really matter because it's just. Oh, it's actually it's in English. It was just in English right there. Pictures. So let's say a 25-year-old woman or a woman who can pass for 25, right? See, when you hear or see or think or can at least trick yourself into believing that she's 25, see, you look at these women, any man, I don't care who it is or what their sexual preference is. If they look at a woman like this, or ethnic preference, whatever. If you look at a woman who's 25, skinny, healthy, whatever the fuck, you look at her and can immediately see future. Right? There's a future. Right? There's something we can genuinely build and genuinely make work that will be ours. Right? Because we both came together and we both are working towards a future. Right? And that's what men do. Men like to build shit and build shit together. Right? So again, when men look at a woman who or feel like she's anywhere, I would say up to 30. I'm just using 25 just for the sake of the search. But I say up to 30. You look at her and think future. I can make a home. When you look at a bitch like any of these bitches, you look at them and say, You feel a sense of relief and go, I hope I can make a home with a woman who looks like that. Right? Because she looks like she's still vibrant. She could still even sell you the bullshit princess thing, wear heels, and go, achoo. She could still do all that, and it still fits. She could sit there at the table and go, I think I had a small tickle in my throat. And it fits. Right? Now, let's go to the 45-year-old woman. Yeah, see, no, you don't see there's no if you attach 45 to a woman, there's no you could say she looks good, right? You could say I wouldn't mind fucking her and hanging out with her for a little bit, but you do not look at a 45-year-old woman and be like and truly deep down in your soul, right? Deep down be like, I'm happy to start a future with this. You don't do it. The reason why it's an undisputable fact is because whenever men get money, where do they go? Whenever men get enough money where they can like really start talking shit, what do? The first thing they do is go out and start fucking younger bitches. Right? Because now they have the resources, you mean, to fully take that on in the worst case of scenarios, right? A woman over 30 majority of the time is a consolation prize at best, at absolute best. And I'm using the word prize just, because the consolation usually goes with that. She's a consolation. Let me make sure I'm not pronouncing it wrong. Yeah. Yeah, consolation prize. That is the exact definition. That is the exact definition of a fucking of getting with a woman over 30, 35. I would say 30, 35 because I'm lenient with these things. I would say 30, 35. Definitely after 35, no. After 35, like there's got to be some other reason to be fucking with her at that point. It's something else really has to stand out. All right, and that woman in the bottom right, she's 39. Done. She can't sell you any of that anymore, right? She can't. That woman in the bottom right, she can still. I mean, let me zoom in on her. Like she doesn't look too bad from far out. She stayed skinny and looks like she can figure out how to combine soap and water and use a brush. So and that's pretty much all women need in the world to survive in dating anyway. But in terms of like looking at her and be like, yes, future. No, like I look at this woman and do not see okay. I look at this woman and see she can probably be, a decent, you know, human to have sex with, something like that. But I'm not. There is no part of. There is literally no atom in me that looks at her and says, "Yes, future." I want to be. I mean, yes. Now this one, I think she says she's 29. Yeah, possibly future. She's getting old, and she better start coming off that. I had a little tickle in my throat and trying to walk around and act like she's perfect and prissy. She's got to start coming off that shit and coming into reality. But there's a potential for sure, right? There's a potential. But at 39, no, 39, no. That's just you missed the boat. It's done. Just give it up. Just, and I don't mean to, I'm not trying to saying this stuff to make fun of her or anything like that. I'm saying it just as a reality check that every man is thinking, but many just don't have the courage to acknowledge it within themselves or to say it out loud. But that's what it is. Again, when successful people show you there's no what was it? There's no way to test a man's true character than to give him complete power. And what do men with complete power always do? You don't find men with complete power going out searching for 45-year-old bitches unless they're like 90, right? Something like that. And even then, they really ain't looking for them bitches, right? They really want that 25-year-old. Rich men do not go clawing after 40-year-old bitches. It just is what. And I'm not saying 40-year-old bitches can't look great. Some 40-year-old women look great. Completely. Some 40-year-old women can look amazing, right? But again, it's that future aspect of it. It's the looking at something and seeing a future, right? Something to build with, right? And I think that's the part that women just fail. Like I think it hurts so bad they just choose to try not to acknowledge it. Because if you use it in the same context of, like, let's say you want to go out and buy a new car, right? Well, who goes out, typically speaking, who goes out and buy, in the general consumer world, who goes out and buys used cars? Older cars that are used. People who can't afford new cars. That's who goes and buys them, right? Generally speaking, not count like if you live in Prague or something like that, but like especially in an environment where cars are needed, who goes out and buys a 10 and 15-year-old used cars? It's people who can't afford new cars. Who buys the new cars? It's the people who can afford new cars, right? And every woman will agree, yes. No woman was every woman. If you ask any woman what would they rather in life, a used car or a new car? Every woman will say a new car. No woman will say, "Oh, but that used car is strong and independent." That used car is strong and independent. Is made up his mind. No. The woman, okay, both of these women. Okay, the woman on the bottom left. The woman on the bottom left, I would say, is the equivalent of, like, I would say, and I'm not saying this to make fun of anybody, but the woman she's about the equivalent of, I'd say, I can't see her stand, but okay, just give her age and the fact that she looks like she can apply soap and water and use a hairbrush, which, believe it or not, can be monumental task for many women. She's about the equivalent of, like, a 4-year-old Hyundai Elantra. Hyundai Elantras are great cars. I think they're great cars. Well, she's a 4-year-old Hyundai Elantra. She's not something new. She's not new by no means, but it's a good car, right? It's got good struts. Probably don't have any transmission problems. It's probably got a good warranty on it. I mean, I wouldn't tell you. If somebody came to me and said, "Hey, D, I'm thinking about buying this Hyundai Elantra. It's 4 years old and it's coming with a good price and it has a warranty. What do you think?" I would say, yeah, if it's coming with a warranty and it's only 4 years old, I say, yeah, go for it. I mean, but know what you got. It's a 4-year-old Hyundai Elantra. All right. Now, if a car salesman was trying to sell you a 4-year-old Honda Elantra at a fucking Lamborghini price, like a lot of women are trying to do today, I would tell you, fuck no, don't do that. This woman is not worth a new Lamborghini price. This woman is worth a 4 to 6 year old Honda Elantra with a good warranty. Right? Now again, and like I said, I think she's a nice looking woman. She looks like she can apply soap and water. She looks like she can, she looks like she knows she's figured out how to take a bath. She looks like she can figure out how to use a comb. So, and that's all a woman really needs to succeed as a woman. And just sit there and shut the fuck up, right? And she's officially woman in the world. Everybody will see her as a woman, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, this woman, I don't know this woman, and I'm not trying to roast her, but see, there's a couple red flags immediately, right? And this is a red flag that in North America has, right? So people outside of North America may not be aware of this, but this is the immediate red flag was she was flaunting that she was back to Florida. See, Americans use Florida as pretty much like people from Florida usually don't brag about Florida. It's the people who usually had to move to Florida, or they know that people outside of Florida like to glorify Florida. So you're gonna know they're from Florida, right? It's like vegan shit. Especially people who move to Florida. Those are the equivalent of vegans. Like, you're gonna know because they don't have any identity outside of that. Right, and that's a huge red flag. The fact that she had to keep throwing around because she's throwing around she's from Florida. Okay, look, because if I had to throw around shit, I could just do a live stream like this all the time from my window. Like, hey, yeah, I'm from Prague. I live in Prague. Yeah, and I live right here. And this is my view literally every morning when I wake up. I just took a shit and I had diarrhea, but I came back out and this is my view. Look at my life. Hey, it's me. This is my view from my flat in Europe. I've been living in Europe for 10 years. I don't do that. No. I don't do. I've literally done the whole live stream from my fucking bed. It wouldn't have said anything if it didn't come up in context, right? But the Florida was okay. The Florida in combination with her being 40, are the red flags for me. Honestly. Oh, cosmic variant. You talking about the one? Yeah, the one on the bottom. But yeah, this one's gonna gain weight for sure. It's very unlikely she's gonna be that size in 5 years. Very unlikely. I would agree with that. Yeah. Because she's a bit too chubby now. In 5 years, she's gonna be big as a house. This one will keep her weight down, but it's just being 40. In the auto market, this one is probably about the equivalent of I would say. I'm trying to think of because I've been out the U.S. so I can't remember many cars because I got all these Czech and European cars in my head and Americans probably won't know. I would say no, because I was gonna say Alfa Romeo. She's about the equivalent for people who know Alfa Romeos and their mechanic history. Y'all know that would be I would be roasting her saying that because Alfa Romeos, I think they're beautiful cars, but they're pretty much like the Jaguars of no, Jaguars are more luxury, but in terms of like reliability, they're just not reliable from what I've heard. I've never had one, but I've always heard that Alfa Romeos they look great, but they're always in the shop. I would say this woman is the equivalent of like let me see if I can find this car. I give her a few more years. Let's say it was 2000. Yeah, I would say she's the equivalent of a 2010 Mustang. Like you could tell she had a day, right? And she still doesn't look bad, right? And she's living in Florida, right? Like all that. I would give her the equivalent of one of these. Not a bad car, but you can look at this car and tell, look, whoever owned that car before you has ran that transmission to the ground. It's been plowed. Look, dudes picked up 5 bitches from the club and had them puking and pissing all in it. They've been puking drunk all in it and cleaned it up and and all. It's been used thoroughly, right? But it looks good now, right? It has a past, but it looks good now, right? It ain't come with no warranty. You be lucky to get some little bullshit, 1-year warranty on it, some shit like that. Right? It ain't come with no warranty. Right? Yeah, motherfuckers they done drag raced it down the highway every Thursday and Friday. They done had people that got drunk and puked all in it and shit in their pants all in it. It done been fucked up, ran over, been in 5 car crashes. It done hit pillars and telephone poles because they was driving drunk in it and racing down the highway. But it has all been fixed, and she's fixed now. Right? There's a reason why she's sitting up there, right? And she ain't sitting somewhere with some kids. Well, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe she does have kids. Maybe. But I'm talking in the dating world. In the dating world, she's the equivalent. She would be the equivalent in best case scenario. She's the equivalent of a 2010 Mustang. Like she might be married now. I don't know. Maybe she's happily married with kids. I don't know. Did she? I can't remember if she said she was single or not. But even if she's married now, in the dating world, a 40-year-old woman at best is one of these. It's clear she's been used hard. I don't think she's a bad, again, like a Mustang. 2010 is not a bad looking car. It's a good looking car. And here's the thing. And if you came to me and say, hey, AD, I'm looking at this 2010 Mustang. It got about 200,000 miles on it. But they replaced the transmission because they fucked it up before. They replaced the transmission. They had to fix the radiator. It had an oil leak, but they fixed that. It's a 2010 and they're selling it for a good price. What do you think? I say, yeah, buy it. Yeah. I mean, know what you got. But buy it, right? No, just be aware of what it is. Now, if you came to me and said, AD, man, I'm looking at this 2010 Mustang. Okay, let's do this. Hang on, 2010 Mustang MR. Yeah. So So this is the original price for the car, right? So let's say, hey AD, I'm looking at this 2010 Mustang, and the owner said they ain't driving a lot, and they said they replaced the transmission and all this shit, and they selling it for $70,000. What do you think? I'm like, no, don't. That's a horrible deal, dude. I don't care if it's in pristine condition. Don't buy that car for that price. That's horrible. And they know you shouldn't buy that car for that price. But they know if you just need a car, you fuck around and buy it, pay that shit for it. Or you dumb as fuck or something like that, right? And there's a good chance she's trying to sell a 2010 Mustang for about $100,000 because she's worth it. Because you worth it. Absolutely not. The car Will Smith drove in I Am Legend. Word up. Thanks, Gaze. That your analogies are gold. At least parts are cheap, and most mechanics know how to work on it. Yeah, Nick. Yeah. Because everybody who owned those Mustangs drove them motherfuckers. At some point, they revved that motherfucker, burn out in them something, and fuck something up. So they all know how to fix it. You J Little chin word. Yeah, that's one thing I don't find attractive. Like women with big chins Women with big chins and women with big feet. Those two things I have a hard time getting past. Yeah. She thinks she's a 67 Shelby Mustang. Yeah, a lot of most women they don't think they want them. And see that's the other part when people talk when you know when we compare like cars. See the difference is with a car, like cars have the potential of being essentially rebuilt 40 years later. Women don't even get that. There's nothing you can, at least where technology is now, women, there is no rebuilding Dolly Parton. It's just gone. Dolly is over. Like, I mean, she can hold it. She can do, whatever she can to try to hold on to it as long as she can, but it's done, right? Now, with a car, you can just restore a car, right? And just, replace parts, and then next thing you know, the car will be fucker. Now, out of all those, let's say, like, all those 67 Shelbys that came out, how many were actually kept in great shape and restored properly, right? And I think that's the other part, like when women do try to like trickle into this argument about it, they don't like math usually doesn't work with women, so like they usually fail horribly. But when you look at all those historic cars, how many of those cars that were actually manufactured made it throughout 20 or 30, 40, 50 years and was in the right hands to be fully restored properly, right? It's going to be last time I looked into it, maybe it was a certain model of car, but it was far less than 5%, and that'll actually make it to that level. But yeah, let's get started with videos. I'm talking too much.
You're still based in Mexico now? Or where are you based now? You're in Mexico City
In Tampa.
now? Oh, you're in Tampa now. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Cool. Look at two ladies from my neck of the woods there, Rich.
All right, brother. So I heard struggle with guys and super single. What should we start with? What does super single mean? Like every once in a while we get, hey, I'm super single. What's the difference between single and super single?
There's no situationships. There's no back and forth. There's no talking. There's no one I'm waiting to hear a good morning or a good night from. Okay. There's just there's no going out to dinners. Not really.
Do you have any guy friends?
I have a lot of guy friends. And
there it is.
No.
Go on. No, please continue.
But those the guys that I'm friends with, I feel that I'm open enough to put that boundary in place. Like if you're my guy friend, then you're not getting any. Like.
So Rich, do you wanna educate the ladies on why women are never single? Do you want to go down that path?
Well, yeah. 95% of the time, the only reason why a man is hanging out with a woman is because he wants to fuck her. At minimum 90%. If she called up any of those, she's trying. Look, if she called up any one of those dudes and said, "Hey, let's fuck," right now, 10 out of 10 would be over there within the hour. And she knows it.
Yeah, they say that women are never single because they're always dealing with some guy somewhere, somehow. Shoe doesn't fit for that one?
I'm trying to think of a name in my head that like somebody I might deal with more on a regular basis than someone else.
Are you on a dating app?
No.
Do you have a friends with benefits?
No.
Are you talking to anybody that you're romantically interested in?
Not at all.
Is anybody doing any of those things on the other side of the equation to you and you may not be reciprocating?
I'm pretty blunt in putting my foot down and saying that's not going to happen.
You just cut them off right away. Hey, Diaz, I dig your vibe. Let's grab a drink. Nope.
No, if
it's like you're cutting them off.
If it's somebody else, if it's a vibe that I'm like, if I'm also vibing with that person, like, yeah, you got to catch me on my free time and maybe we can like talk at some point. But I don't know. I left a bad relationship and then my standards got really high. And now I just like, shit, did I make them too high? Like, did I don't, you know what I mean?
You're 40 and on the internet. So you probably made them a little too high.
I don't know. I'm not against the.
But here's the thing. Women, now this is the crazy part, is that women love to try to show that they're in control of what's going on, like who they're attracted to. Women are not in control of this shit, dude. So first, let's make this clear. With the whole they've made their standards and all this, right? Women do not make their own standards. Okay. Life, women, I can't express this enough. Women are not in charge of anything. They're not outside of making herself try to look as fuckable as she can make herself look. Outside, they're not in control. Okay, let's go to the standards part, right? See, the reason why it was easier 20 years ago for most men on Earth is because online dating wasn't there for men to just throw themselves at women from all different realms of the universe, right? So a woman's standards 20 years ago was essentially what she just had access to, right? So back in those years, if you had taken like a Melania Trump and just thrown her in fucking Walmart or Costco to work in there, her range of men would have strictly only been there unless some richer guy from like another neighborhood just happened to come home to his dad's house and seen her working at Walmart and took her up like that, and randomly she would have like been off in that world, right? The standards, this one, what's her name, Diaz, whatever her name, she is not responsible for her standards. She thinks she is, but she's not. Women love to imitate men on being in control of shit. She's not in control. What happened was she ended up fucking a dude who probably was of a higher standard or some shit like, or probably hurt her so bad to where she thinks that she's making a standard of some Prince Charming who doesn't exist. But she herself, she is not in charge of making the standards, right? The reason why I say this and why I will always back this up is bring any woman in the room, anywhere, and bring this next part up. Ask her this flat out. Is she responsible for who her pussy opens up for and who it doesn't? And if she's being honest with you, a woman will literally tell you her pussy, she knows that her pussy just will not open up for this kind of dude and that kind of dude. It has nothing to do with her personally. Her pussy literally just will not open up for this type of dude, even if she tried to. Again, she's not in control of this. Her body and life scenarios is in control of that. She's not in control of it. As any woman, the reality, okay, do you think that your pussy can open up for this kind of guy? And be be blatantly clear that you're talking about on a biological level. If somebody held a gun to your head and said, you gotta fuck Tommy from Radio Shack or we kill you, could you open up your pussy for it? Right? And in many cases, many women just can't do it. She's not attracted to him where her body can't do it, right? Now, on the other hand, a guy can make his dick get hard, right? For generally speaking, most women, right? But women, majority of women, they are not in control of what their pussy opens up for, right? So that was one thing I really want to make clear, because women love to throw around this whole I make standards. No, she doesn't. She doesn't. She doesn't make anything. One woman makes nothing. Woman follows, woman waits, but she makes nothing. She makes herself fuckable. She makes herself more presentable. But in terms of outside of anything outside of making herself fuckable or presentable, she makes nothing. She waits. She sits back and waits to see what she can manipulate out of something later, but she doesn't make anything. Well, yeah, legit prostitutes, even they will have something, like most people will, but prostitutes, in my experience with prostitutes, and which is why I love prostitutes, by the way, is because they're the few women who genuinely just deal with life on a reality standpoint, right? So they've already dealt with the social stigma and all that. So they've pretty much enlightened out of that phase of of what a general woman is who's trying to pretend like she's not a prostitute is doing, kind of thing. Because it's all prostitution. It's like every woman walking on earth is a prostitute when it comes to cooking up with a man, at least. She's going to be based off just the biological laws of nature. She has to be, right? But in terms of like the hard, going to show part kind of thing, even they'll have like a limit of what they can and what they can't do. But even then, like I said, they've already dealt with so much on the social stigma level that at that point, it doesn't really apply the same way to them, right? Now let's say, let's take like a show park hooker, but then let's take like an American woman hooker, right? I meant to, actually, let me look up. Well, it's gonna take me too long to look it up now, but there's a website where you can look up prostitutes based like on countries, and me and my girl, we talked about it, and she knows. She's probably watching right now, but we looked it up. Oh no, I'm sorry, I looked it up, and we got to talking about it. And it's like the same physical quality woman in Czech Republic would charge you like 60, $70. That same physical quality woman in Europe, if you go to North America or the UK, that same woman would charge you 5 times that amount. Right? And so with American hookers, American women are so confused. It's really, I would go ahead and throw the UK in there with that. Even I'm not like fully versatile in the UK, but just based off of certain aspects of it, I can tell a lot of it's going to be the same, at least on core fundamental levels. These are women who are essentially living on Mount Olympus, right? So these women are just going to be their own twisted, fucked up situation, right? Yeah, and I really want, because that's going to take me down a whole nother path, and I want to do at least some of this video. I've only made it like 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in. But yeah, let me keep going this.
The idea of dating, I'm not against I want to hit my like soft girl era. I want to let the tough exterior down. I want to have, princess treatment and be a girl and be in that relationship. But it's going to take a lot to get me there. And I'm pretty quick on knowing if I'm going to vibe with someone or not. And I don't go anywhere. I sell vitamins from my house online. I go to the gym. I don't have like an outside job. So it's not like I'm just waiting for like the Prince of Dubai to go shopping at Publix and like see me in my, gym gear and fall in love. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Prince of Dubai is not looking for 40-year-old bitches. You think the Prince of Dubai go, yeah, man, I can't wait till I come around with my millions and walk across a 40-year-old bitch in leggings who sells vitamins and fall in love. Think about how crazy this shit is. Think about this shit. She's fucking crazy. You think the Prince of Dubai is, yeah, brother, I can't wait till I go to Publix and come across a 40-year-old bitch in leggings and some Nikes. And I'm gonna fall in love with this bitch in the fucking cereal aisle. And I'm gonna treat a 40-year-old bitch like a princess. You too old. Let it go. The princess shit is done. It's finished. You can probably throw on some makeup to look like you 25 again, but we all know you're not 25 because your attitude is gonna be too bitter and fucked up. It's done. Like I started out this live stream. I said, look, because when they get older, they still want to do this whole beep. Excuse me, I had a little belch. Achoo. She's still like, because it's all they ever knew. And it's all they ever needed to get by in life was acting prissy. Doing all that shit. And now she's 40 and she doesn't know how to do anything else. It's done. You're not a princess. You missed the boat. It's over. It's done. Your time of finding that prince in Dubai was 15 years ago. All right? And you fucked that up. Because that's why you're on YouTube. Trying to sell pussy. That is done. There is no reason for a man to ever marry you. There is no reason for a man to ever really want to be with you any longer than a couple months. There's because you're gonna bring nothing but problems, frustrations, issues. You're sad about your life because you're 40 and you never got married. You're sad because you're 40 and you never did anything to make you feel like a successful woman as being a woman. You're mad because of this. No, there's no reason for any successful man to look at you and be like, yeah, I'm happy making a future with you. No, it's done. That's for 25-year-old bitches. That's max 30, 35. Max 30, 35 if she's real good. 35. She has to be really good, not just some random hoe that lives in Florida selling vitamins. All right, you. I don't care how many vitamins you selling. You just you selling vitamins. All right, does not fit with exotic, great, wonderful, amazing shit in life. I mean, you can fuck around and fund some of it that way, but it doesn't mix. See, the other area of where women fuck up is you got these dingbat bitches who are like, they're working in these little regular offices in like marketing or something like that, and they think James Bond's gonna come marry them. Like, bitch, what the fuck does James Bond want with some hoe working in a fucking Rent-A-Center office? You are fucking lame. You are a lame duck. It's over. You just missed that whole boat. It's done. The only thing that even could have got you on that boat was you just being fuckable, being young and fuckable. That was it. Nobody ever. Okay, this Diaz girl. Nobody ever liked you because you were so fucking smart. Nobody ever liked you because you were fucking intelligent, because you were funny. No. People liked you because you were skinny, you looked young, and you looked fuckable. That's what got you. That was 80% of what got you in any door, anywhere in life, right? That's it. What? Okay. And to make it clear, because if she ever sees, she probably think I'm roasting her and all this. But here's what I'll be telling my girl. She gets mad at me for saying this shit. Would you date you in the world? If what's her name? Diaz. Diaz. So Diaz, if you see this, I want you to really use this thought exercise. If you seen you in the world, how you walk, talk, act, and live, would you want to come back and talk to you again tomorrow? Would you okay, so let's put it into relativity. The theory of bitch relativity, right? What she thinks is a possible reality is wow, okay, she sells vitamins on the internet. This is even how crazy that sounds, and not in like in the world of like women trying to sell off sounding great and all this shit. She's a vitamin salesman on the internet. Like that shit sounds fucking ridiculous. Just say that shit out loud 3 times, and I dare you not to laugh at it. Right? Like, you a vitamin salesman you're an online vitamin dealer. What the fuck? You're a vitamin B12. Girl, I need my vitamins. I need my vitamins. Just think about how ridiculous that sounds, right? And the only thing that's keeping it, the only thing that even keeps it somewhat realistic, right, of what she wants, the only thing that keeps it somewhat realistic has nothing to do with her vitamin sales or the fact that she lives in Florida. That has nothing to do with why her dream is even somewhat possible. The only thing that keeps her dream somewhat possible is because she looks like she can figure out how to take a bath and use a comb. Right? And she's a woman and she's not fat. Those three things are the only thing that ever kept any of that dream possible on any level, right? Because if she looked like she didn't know how to take a bath and she didn't know how to use a comb and she was 100 pounds overweight, that dream would be gone. Wouldn't stand a chance. I don't care if she had a mansion and was the head attorney of Nevada. No, she 250 pounds. That dream is dead. Right? Period. Right? But let's go back to her dream. Her dream was to put on something tight and go to a grocery store and meet a prince and fall in love with. Right? Now. Let's use the theory of bitch relativity, right? Now, the theory of like what's relative to her in the other aspect of it, right? So let's say like a dude who lives at home in his basement in fucking Omaha and his mom and he lives in his mom's basement, right? He's expecting to go to the grocery store and meet Diaz and fall in love with her, overnight. Yeah, see that doesn't make sense, does it? That sounds completely ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. You know what? Because that's what you are in the world. You're ridiculous right now. We looking at your niece in the pic you posted on Thanksgiving. I posted a picture on Thanksgiving. I remember doing that.
Prince of Dubai. Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, and I go out
You're setting
dressed.
that bar right up there, Diaz.
I know, and I don't know. I might have messed myself up with that because.
All right. So, you mentioned the last relationship was bad. So what happened? Why did you leave that?
It was a abusive, alcoholic fueled, toxic relationship, and
yeah. Trust me, she did nothing wrong. Trust me, she did nothing wrong to trigger anything. It was all him. Yeah.
I lived up north.
She was a perfect
owned a
angel.
farm, and we farmed together. And then I started to want to evolve more, and that wasn't happening. And it just became a huge split, and the drinking just got out of control. And I have 3 kids. Oof. So I was like, I'm not going through this anymore.
He was drinking because you got 3 kids, bitch. That's why he was drinking. That man did everything to keep some skinny pussy around him and had to start drinking himself to death to convince him to keep you and your 3 bastards in his roof. You had 3 kids. This is the other delusion that women have, severe delusion. Women genuinely don't understand that other men want nothing to do with their children. Any man who has any self-esteem doesn't want anything to do with, he really doesn't want anything to do with their children. This whole I'm a package deal bullshit. See, women don't understand what it's like to not be wanted at all on earth. You see, so they're always used to somebody always wanting them because they're just there. So they don't understand. So if you say anything like on a level of rejection, they literally just can't handle it because they're not used to it. This bitch had 3 kids. Has 3 kids. I just had this conversation at the dinner table with my spouse 2 days ago. And she got mad. She got kind of mad at me for saying this. I said, look, because I told her, quick side story. I told her when I went to Argentina, right? I went with the study abroad group. And the head person that was behind it was this woman, right? And she was a cute woman. Weirdly enough, she actually worked at my high school for her internship. And we found out like while we were in Argentina. She was there while I was there, and that was real crazy how that played out. But she had 3 kids, and she was single, and she found a man who had 3 kids, and they got married, right? So they both had 3 kids together. And I told my girl, I said, look, look, with multiple kids, I just would not even consider any type of serious relationship. I think it's gross at that point. I think it's disgusting. I couldn't even imagine doing it with my son and going out and like inviting him around another woman and all that shit like that. No, that just makes me feel sick all over again thinking about it. I just wouldn't even, no. I would never. I just wouldn't even. I think it's. And she got mad at me because I said this. I said. I think by if people become single parents like that, like especially like with multiple kids, maybe not one, but like especially multiple kids, I think that they should just make swingers clubs for like single parents to just go to and just fuck each other. You know what I mean? And just like and just mingle and fuck and then just leave, right? Whenever they get an off day, off week, something like that, and just go in and just fuck and just leave. Because when you start when you bring in multiple people into what's supposed to be a two-person relationship, now you've got to juggle this person being mad at this one took the other one's advice, that one's taking the other one's side, all this extra shit that all you wanted was some pussy. Right? Now you got to deal with all this extra shit. I said because see, women don't usually don't have a problem because women like that drama. They like, did Alex get mad at Susan and did Susan take Alex's side? And women love that drama. Men don't like that shit for real. Her ex didn't like that shit. That's why he set up and drank himself to goddamn death. Right? Her ex didn't like. Bitch, you had 3 kids. You was lucky he even fucked with you at all. You're not coming over here. I tell you that much right now. You would not come in. You would not step foot anywhere I live. Period. Okay. You or your 3 kids. None of y'all are welcomed. Because it's not worth it. That man drank himself to death dealing with you and your used up ass raggedy pussy. But she gonna try to sell, he was abusive and alcoholic. Yeah, because y'all was abusing him. When you walked in the door with 3 people immediately on your side, he dealt with it just to get some pussy out of you. Y'all drove that man. He let y'all come over and fuck with him. Y'all drove that man crazy. That man went nuts. I'm trying to be a good stepfather. Fuck out of here with that shit. Trying to be a good stepdad. Just trying to step up to the plate. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Yeah, you found one that did it, who tried it. And y'all drove him mad. And then leave and blame him for everything. Y'all done used up his shit, broke all his shit. Used up his car and wrecked his car, knocked holes in his walls, ran up his bills, didn't pay half the bills. Then got in arguments and fights, messed up his whole day the next day when he went outside to go to work. Y'all done did all this, and then you leave. Well, he was abusive. Shut the fuck up. Y'all ran that man crazy. Single mother with 3 kids coming trying to. Get the fuck out of here. And you mean to tell me this man was just minding his own. This man was just, he was sitting. You mean to tell me this man was just sitting down chilling and then randomly just start drinking and start cussing y'all out for no reason? See, this is the shit that bitches get other bitches to just agree with to go, you go girl, or they get simps to agree with them to just because they think they'll get some pussy out of them. Look, I don't want no pussy out of you, Diaz, and I never will because you got 3 kids. Maybe you was a hooker, or if you was just like super duper cool randomly, something like. But I don't want no. I would put it like this. Look. There is no part of my life that will feel any sadness if I never get pussy out of you. Right? I'm a 40-year-old bitch with 3 kids. These motherfuckers ran his ass crazy and had the nerve to say he was abusive. Bitch, you came over there with 3 mouths to feed. And I know what's coming next. Well, whatever. I feed my kids. How much you want to bet? No, I ain't gonna go there. I'm just gonna stop it right there. She came there with 3 kids, dude. She came there with 3. Not 1. Not 2. Not 2.5. Not even. She came there with 3 live humans. I mean, with herself. She came, so there's 4 people this man had to now account for in his household, right? That's not worth it, dude. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. That is that's crazy. That is pure madness. It's got to be a desperate man to put up with that. Or a man who's never had a relationship, and that's probably, it's, half and half. That's gross. That's fucking disgusting. Yo, thanks, Cosmic Variant. You say you gonna run to town? Thanks for tuning in, man. AD, I meant D. Oh, Diaz's niece. Okay, I see. But this is.
I'm selling my farm. I'm moving, and I'm done. And I moved to Florida on my own and raised 3 kids on my own.
You mentioned that you wanted to move on or progress. I'm not sure if I heard that correctly. Like, were you looking for more out of the relationship, or?
No, just not to be an alcoholic piece of shit.
Oh, okay. So, at what point did you realize that he was an alcoholic?
After all her kids moved in and they drove him crazy, that's when he turned to an alcoholic.
We actually had split, and then we had a visit again, and then I got pregnant, and then I'm gonna change for the baby, and blah blah blah, and that whole deal. Mm-hmm. And then I participated in being an alcoholic cowgirl and doing all of those things, and then it just became too much, and I didn't want to do it anymore. And I wanted to. You
didn't do anything wrong. It was all him. It was you did nothing wrong in it. You just seen the light, and he was just evil. Mm-hmm.
Make money and make moves and get healthy, and I went on that path. And
so she got with a man who was an alcoholic. She had 3 kids. She got with a man who was this evil alcoholic. She joins. Okay, this is literally what she just said. She had 3 kids. She got with a man. She found he was an alcoholic. So she went and did the cowgirl shit and became an alcoholic with 3 kids, mind you. So there was no mention of irresponsibility on her part, nothing like that. She follows him down his evil path in life of being dirty and unclean while she has kids. Remember that part. She has kids. Doesn't give a fuck. Gets drunk, gets evil, and then all of a sudden she magically sees a light, and she has to make big girl money moves and move to Florida on her own. Where do you think this money came from with raising 3 kids? To move to Florida. Where do you think that money came from?
When the toxicity level became eggshells in my house, and when it turned from belittling to actual violence, I realized, I don't know how I got myself into this position.
Physical violence?
Yes.
Okay.
So after I realized, I don't know when I lost that part of me, because I wasn't that person that ever took that shit before. And then it slowly ate at me. And then all of a sudden it was what am I going to do? And then one day I woke up I'm not going to take this anymore. And Chris.
How hot was this dude that you invited him into your life and moved him in, and you guys had a kid together, and you overlooked his drinking?
Bad. I overlooked everything. It was so bad.
I want to ask you to follow up. How old were you when you met, and then how long did you stay together?
We were together for 8 years.
And you met when?
Ain't that what I always say? Isn't that what I always say? What do I always say? Yeah. See, the ones who are abusive, how long were you together? 12 years. Right. But then ask them, what about those nice guys? How long were you with those nice guys for? Well, I don't even remember his name. I think I blocked him after the second text message. She likes this dude. It's what she likes. Ask her how long was she with the nice guy for. Ask her. I bet it wasn't 8 years. I bet it didn't make it to 1 year. It's what she likes.
How old were you when you met? And how old was he?
31-ish.
Okay, so this is recent.
You guys had the 3 kids together, or is it just the most recent?
I had 2 kids previously, and he helped me raise my other 2 kids. It was Brady Bunch, his kids, my kids. Everything was going good. And then it became not so good. And I moved from Vegas. I lived in Vegas for 7 years, and then
Oh, that's a huge red flag. That's a huge that would be my immediate red flag, to never ever let her ever near anything I own that's of any value more than $50. That because she lived in Vegas. That's that. I think Saturday Night Live even did a skit about that. Where like that's a huge red flag for any woman who's physically anywhere near physically attractive and lived in Vegas. Immediately done. You're immediately finished. You're immediately regarded as trash. Right off the bat. Immediately. No questions asked, you're trash. If you're anywhere reasonably attractive and you lived in Vegas and you say I lived in Vegas, done. Immediately. No, and again, I'm pretty sure Saturday Night Live had a skit. Let me see if I can find that skit real fast. Saturday Night Live had a skit about that. Like I think it was called Red Flag, and they said, yeah, she's from Vegas. I think yeah, Red Flag perfume. This shit. So like, watch that whenever you get a chance. And they say, yeah, she says like I'm from Vegas, and it goes Red Flag. Vegas is always a red flag, dude. I'm telling you, if she's even remotely attractive and she lived in Vegas, immediately done. Right off the bat, no. That's an immediate, for any type of like moving in or hanging out. Now, if you used to have a fling, yeah, go for it. But no, no. Mm-mm. She had 2 kids, moved in with him, got drunk with him, and seen the light and moved to Florida. Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on a lot of that. How much you want to bet she was also violent? I'm platypus dreams, look, because I know how women are. If I had to guess, she was the one who was actually violent. If I had to bet. There's some guys who will do some fucked up shit, but generally speaking, there's some guys who will do it. But generally speaking, in my experiences in history of dealing with this, more times than not, the woman was the one who was actually physically violent. And she'll twist and lie shit. She'll twist and lie shit to make it to lead you to just believe something. See, she's not gonna do the math on saying, yeah, I moved into his house with my 2 children, and we drove his ass crazy. She'll never say that. That'll never come out of her mouth, even though that's what happened.
And I went back to Western New York, like right on Pennsylvania, New York line, and decided I was going to do like small town farm girl and get horses and cows and raise, animals.
Isn't
and all
that the dream for all girls today?
No,
go get
it's
the
not.
farm
It's not the fucking dream. You don't want chickens. You don't want goats. You don't want cows. Like I did it all day, all night.
It's no good.
No good.
No,
and especially in
worth it.
Western New York, it's a tundra. Like it's ice
Okay.
all the time. So
Okay, no. Now what? Okay, now the part that she's actually even out here is because I read up on these types of these types of like farm positions, shit like that. Now, I'm just gonna say my assumption based off of my studies on the field, right? And these are just strictly studies because I've never worked on a farm. If I had to guess, the reason why she worked on a farmland is because that was the only job she can get, especially to feed her 2 children. Because these jobs usually don't require any type of degree or anything like that. A lot of times these jobs, you can just go find somebody who does it and ask them if you can help them or something like that. These jobs usually don't require any type of actual training in the world to do. Right? If I had to guess, that was the. And then on top of that, she's down there in the South. A lot of those places would just hire Mexicans to do it anyway for like a quarter of the price. She's probably working with a bunch of Mexicans, doing a job, doing these like dirty jobs with illegal immigrants. If I would have to guess, I wouldn't put it past her to do. Especially she had 2 kids too, down there. I would bet that's probably was the reality of it. I would bet.
I
'Cause I
tried
keep
it.
hearing women say, I want to get a farm and raise
They don't.
animals and grow shit.
They don't.
No?
They don't. And it's the amount of backbreaking labor it takes.
Yeah.
And I like the challenge of labor. I was, in the trenches, so to speak, and doing all of the things. And I really do kind of miss the farming part of it. But I was with someone that just took pieces of me and I let it happen. And I became toxic myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the self-awareness that my kids are being negatively affected by me not getting out of my own way. And I was like, I'm done. And
So what standards did you have to raise after you left this guy?
everything. I mean, I started taking my health into better consideration. I started selling vitamins and it became like tunnel vision on self-improvement.
Mhm.
And now, I mean, I'm a very blunt, overtly sexual, funny, like locker room talk type person. So people, I feel like sometimes I attract that, and it's not, I don't want to be sexualized, even though I make jokes all the time, you know what I mean? So it's very hard to kind of find that happy medium. Like, yeah, I'm joking with you. We're having those talks, but legit, it's not going to go anywhere. So it's probably why I'm super single.
So this is with the guy friends that you're hanging out with. You're cracking the
Yeah.
sexual jokes.
Yeah, and her age definitely just reinforces that. Like I said, my ex-wife, she told me her mother went through that same thing. When women start hitting like 40 and they just don't have the looks anymore to get the kind of guys that they want, like that is a big transition for women. And her face gives off that she's older, right? Her face is definitely, her body might be a little skinnier, but when you look at her face, she's probably got crow's feet and all that shit popping up on her face. So she's definitely aged, right? Usually when women start hitting, I say like from higher 30s to early 40s, that's when that's a big transition for women because they were used to just being these young looking, youthful, specimens, walking the earth that are just like these beautiful things that every man would do anything for to get their attention, to now being 40 and up and older, right? That's a big blow to women, right? Because now they know they can't compete with that 25-year-old. They remember what they were at 25 and how they looked at 40-year-old women, and it's just this huge just ball of confusion, depression. It's an awful transition. So many women just say fuck it, I'm not dating, and they'll go 10 or 15. My ex-wife's mom, I think she went 15 years without dating, literally because of that reason, because she could no longer get the men that she wanted. Those men are not looking at her anymore. Yeah, Javi, her hands. Yeah, they can't hide the hands. Usually, you have some who will get like lucky with with biology shit like that. Yeah, but usually, between between any type of crow's feet or hands, one thing kind of hit me hard was I was watching Julia Louis Dreyfus, which I always loved her. I always thought she was like a pretty good actress. She's like a Tina Fey for me. She just has an intelligent sense of humor kind of thing. She could formulate sentences without sounding like a complete idiot. She has a good sense of comedy, especially for a woman. And she did this Julia Louis Dreyfus. She did this. She's finally aged. She did this like sit down thing with the Seth Meyers guy from Saturday Night Live. And she's officially, like, her skin is officially starting to, it's sagging. It's like makeup can't even hide it. Like, she's aged. It's done now, kind of thing. And that hurt me kind of because I always I always had the memory of her being Elaine on Seinfeld when she was, that was like 20 years ago, But yeah, like, she's aged, and it's like, damn, that's Elaine. But yeah. August Line, what's up, man? Says that's why women don't grow up; they just grow bitter. Yeah, yeah. Unless you get the rare one, like a Tina Fey, Julia Louis Dreyfus. Some of them can segue a personality into it, or maybe they had a personality before. It's usually not common, and usually when they do end up like that, they were hanging out with a lot of guys, early on in life, and probably thought they were just ugly or something like that. But for the most part, women, the last thing she wants to rely on to get her by is a personality. Right? Outside of, hey, well, like, I raised chickens before, some basic shit like that. Like, the last thing women use to get by in life is an actual personality, right? And like I said, so when they hit 40, they pretty much have to rely on that, and they never had it from the start, right? Outside of, hey, well, and because every woman thinks that she's nice and caring, because you know every woman thinks on some level that they could be nice and caring. And the funny part is, if you really ask them, like, where do you get this from? The reality is because they remember that time like 3 years ago when they thought it'd be nice to say hi to the guy on a train, and that's why they think they're nice and caring, right? Like, bitch, you didn't even say it out loud. You just thought it. Like, yeah, not like most women are not nice, loving, and caring people. They just do what they want to do and try to fit social norms after that. Yeah, she was on SNL a long time ago. Yeah, Elaine Bennis. But yeah, the one in the bottom, she's done, dude. Well, if she's in America, she'll find some dude to put up with her. As long as she just doesn't get fat, she'll find some dude to put up with her. Just because she's just a skinny woman who can take a bath. That's all it takes. And for her to, to sell to some dude looking for some pussy. But it's some kids, man. It's having all them kids. Like I said, she's not welcome anywhere I am. Period. She's not welcome anywhere I'm living. She is not welcome there with kids. Now maybe if she just comes over to fuck, possibly, but not with, like, I'm not bringing her family into my house. I'm not gonna say who, but somebody told me that when they was little, they grew up with a single mother, right? And it was them and their siblings, and this dude let them come. This dude became their stepfather and let them move in with them, right? And the dude was actually, she said, yeah, she remembers the guy. He was a good stepfather. Work with him with homework and all that. I said, yeah, that dude's a better man than me, because you wouldn't have came to live with me like that. Not with kids and a single. No. The only men who do that are men who I think men who never been married or never, like, really been in a relationship. Those are the only men who can, because once you've actually really done it, you know that, like, women are just big chill. Okay, let's say if it's a household of four people, right? Is you, the woman, and two kids, right? The reality is it's the man and three children, right? The woman doesn't really qualify as an adult. She just doesn't. Right? When you see how she is, like, when you see how women are, like, for real, like, behind closed doors, and you, like, in a relationship, like, like, women are really barely a half step above a child. And I mean barely. Right? Barely. So when it's a man living with, like, three kids and a woman, well, you're really just a man living with four kids. I remember my brother years ago when my brother was with his children's mother. He has two kids and her. And I remember we all went outside, and she says something about the kids. And he goes, yeah, and you're my biggest one. Like, you're my biggest kid. And I always remembered that. And he was right. If you're a man living with a woman and children, you're essentially just a man living with children. The only man who would take in a woman and a child, and it wasn't for, like, getting a green card or something like that, like, a man who would take in a woman with children is a man who's just never had a family or relationship before. That's just what it is, because that's the only way you can do it, because you don't know yet. You just don't know yet. That is a horrible thing to do.
Yeah. And now it's been so long, and now it's like, I feel like I stayed in that toxic relationship for so long because it was that that attachment through sex, you know, like that's when you feel attached. That's when you have your moment of feeling valid and like great sex I'm gonna stay around for. And then all of a sudden it became, I dated one guy in between that and now, great guy, just didn't work out. But
Yeah.
he was like Prince Charming, had a bunch of money, and like
He's Prince
just super
Charming.
nice, like everything. And now I'm like, I'm gonna wait for that again. So,
Well, if you had it, what are you waiting
Why'd
for?
you hold on to
right?
it?
Like, what do you mean? Yeah.
no, like I dated one guy after that horrible relationship that was like it like could have been, that's like my new standard, I guess to say.
Right, but you're not in that relationship anymore. Why?
No, it was just
Yeah.
Boring.
no, it wasn't.
And let me guess, it didn't even last a year. How much you want to bet? It didn't even last a year because he was nice.
It wasn't boring at all. He was a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
There was just
Didn't
a couple
last a
of
year.
things that I was still triggered with, I feel like, from before, and I was overreacting, and not even overreacting because I feel like I'd probably do the same shit now, but like I'm the type of person that needs the reassurance. I have that attachment where like if we don't talk, like what happened, you know what I mean? And I'm also a super sassy and don't stop talking, and I feel like there's a little bit of a control issue just because he did have a ton of money, and that's not my motivations. Like I'm not going to shut up if you have a bunch of money, you know. So it just didn't work out, and we had an amicable separation. Not separation, we just quit talking. We weren't like
So I'm a little bit
Didn't
confused.
last
So
a year.
did he want you to shut up, or did he make a comment about you speaking too much, or?
he made a comment about he could get his ex-wife to do anything, just give her $1 million, she'll move wherever I tell her to move, or she'll do whatever I tell her to do.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, you're not going to give me $1 million to do whatever you tell me to do, type deal. And I don't know. I just felt an ick from that, I guess.
But wouldn't it make sense if you have a guy like that in the palm of your hand to be somewhat?
Did she not say her dream guy was to meet the prince of some country and fall in love with him? This is what, don't listen to women, dude. Just don't listen. They're fucking retarded, dude. Don't listen. The worst thing anybody on earth can do is listen to a woman for advice, including other women. All right. She started off the interview by saying her dream was to meet a rich dude, a rich prince, and fall in love with him. She had a rich dude, and it just didn't work out. But what did work out was when a guy ended up treating her like shit. That's what works out. If I guarantee you, if you go back in her history of dating, the longest lasting relationships were all the ones who treat her like shit. Those were the longest lasting ones. How much you want to bet?
You know, pliable with him, like a little more agreeable, less sassy. I mean, these guys aren't a dime a dozen. They're not sitting in every street
I
corner, right?
know. I fucked that up. I know. I get that. No, yeah, I get it.
Okay, so
But no, I mean, I realized that, but there's just, he lives on the other side of the state, and
yeah,
he also had just got out of not a bad marriage. He just split from a 10-year marriage, and I was still in the state of, why didn't you text me in the morning? And now I'm like, that's stupid. That's annoying. And I was annoying. And I get that I am a little bit of an annoying human being, but like,
right.
I was like grilling him, like, what are you doing? Like, you're running $1 billion company, and I'm bitching that I didn't get a good morning text. You know what I mean? So like, yeah,
Right.
it happened. I grew. I learned from it. I understand that I wasn't ready for that type, and
Yeah.
he might have not been either. I'm not like, it's water under the bridge. I'm not upset about it at all. But
Right.
also those standards are like, I was treated like a princess. You know what I mean? Like
What percentage of guys out there do you think are at that caliber of the man that you just described?
I don't know. Like, not a lot. No, not a lot.
But I mean, if you were to venture a guess,
Ballpark it. Percentage wise.
5%. I don't know. What,
Maybe that or less, probably.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of guys.
Here's the other thing. You ever notice how when people want to speak like logical with women, they always got to talk to them like they're like leading on a puppy? You ever notice that? Like if you want to speak logical to a woman, especially if you start diving into mathematics, you have to start go, hey, well, come here. What do you think about this? And you got to lead them on like they're a fucking child, because they are. She's a fucking child, dude. They're children. They're just bigger children, right? Seriously, like, how do you think this interview would go if he were just to speak directly to her? Like a child, she'd get mad. So you have to talk to him. He has to talk to her like she's, because if it was me and Richard Cooper talking, or if it was Rich and the dude on the left, it would be much more direct, much more quick. They'd be done with the subject in 5 minutes and moved on to something else, right? But with women, you have to talk to them like they're a 4-year-old child mixed with a German Shepherd. That's like the height of their brain development, especially if you speak about anything directly, to get any direct response out of a direct question or a direct answer. To get any type of decent answer, you got to talk to them like they're a child. How all these women on social media dated million. Yeah, Levon, I highly doubt the dude was. He probably said $1 million just saying it, just to say, like, if I gave you $1 million, something like that. All these women claim they've dated a rich dude, right? They all claim they'll all say it, to try to raise their raise their experience levels, because first, I highly doubt that she genuinely dated any type of rich. She's probably been fucked by some rich dudes, like at a random night out. He probably just bought her like, some random shit and and got her pussy or something like that. But every woman claims that they've done. It's like every dude claiming that he could hit a home run or some shit like that, or every dude claiming he could like beat up a kangaroo or some shit like that. Motherfuckers just say the shit, right? I mean, yeah, but they all know. Yeah, they all know millionaires. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, we got a little bit of a story.
Okay, if I had to guess, she's probably doing OnlyFans to pay for shit. Vitamin salesman. Come on, dude. Let's be vitamin salesman. In Florida, you living in Florida, funding 3 kids as a vitamin salesman. Think about how. I'm not saying it's impossible. But think about how that sounds for 5 seconds. Give it 5 seconds of lucid thought. I mean, wait, I can buy vitamins from Walmart. Why am I going to buy them from this woman? Does she have a degree in any type of science field so she can back up her statements on vitamins? What reassurance do I have to buy vitamins from a woman who had to work on a farm? Think about in depth the reality of a vitamin salesman living in Ohio, funding 3 kids, right? Think about just living like in just like a regular state, right? A regular, not nothing, exorbitant in cost. It's just like this is a regular state selling you sell on the internet. This bitch is pumping so many vitamins every month. This bitch is so good at okay. I'm not saying it's impossible, but just hear me out on this. She sells vitamins. She is selling so many vitamins on a monthly basis so she can fund wherever she's paying rent or mortgage, whatever, and raise 3 kids in Florida. Come on. Yeah, there was this old Mad TV skit where this fat, he would be like, Shelly, come on. That's what I'm thinking. What was that shit? It was Shelly. Come on, man. It was Mad TV. Yeah, it was this shit. That's what I'm thinking about. My uncle used to love this dude, man. He used to love this skit. He used to be like, come on. Because in this skit, somebody would say something stupid or something, and he would be like, Shelly, come on. That's what I'm thinking about with Diaz. Come on. Let me see if I can find it. Let's watch it real fast. Here it is. Come on, Shelly. Here it is right here. That's in the title.
Oh, come on, Shelly, huh? Come on. Come on, just give me a little bite, huh?
I'm just trying to help.
Come on, just a little, come on. Come on.
Marvin?
Come on. Come
Marvin,
on.
I can't
Come on.
do that.
Come on.
I can't do that.
Shelly.
Come on.
I can't.
Come on. Diaz. Come on. Come on. You selling so many vitamins every month. This bitch doing OnlyFans. She doing OnlyFans. She hooking, do OnlyFans. Look. She don't got, okay, living in Florida, she ain't got the money to be, you ain't selling vitamins. Just think about how crazy that shit sounds, dude. Think about how crazy that sounds. This bitch is busting it open on OnlyFans, dude. She's being pimped on. She's not selling vitamins as her main source of income. She's definitely not doing that. She's selling pussy some kind of way. And selling that pussy is what's giving her the courage to have that back talk and say, you're not gonna give me money to move anywhere. Yeah, because I got my own money. Okay, she can have her own money, but she ain't making that money selling vitamins. She might have sold like a bottle 6 months ago, some shit like that. She did not sell. Look, she is not, dude. There is nothing about this. Okay, first off, vitamins are just a hard thing to sell right off the bat because you can literally just go to Walmart and buy a bottle for $9.98, right? Then on top of that, she talking about she's selling enough. Okay, this woman does not strike me as an educated woman, and I'm not saying that to be offensive. I'm saying that just how she's talking, what she's saying. The woman on the left, the one on the bottom left, she comes off as more, at least looking at her, she looks like she's a little more polished, right? So I would probably accept it a little more from her. But the one on the right, look, how many people are even gonna trust you with vitamins? I wouldn't even trust buying vitamins from her. All right, I wouldn't trust buying anything. Okay, unless she was working at the restaurant, I would not trust putting anything in my body that came from her. All right, it's gotten to the point now. I told my girl this. I love this restaurant called K. It's not even a restaurant. It's like a place. It's like these little pizza stands you can get, in the city, right? It's called K&M Pizza. I love it. I'll show you guys real fast. K&M Pizza. Uh-oh. K&M Pizza. I love K&M Pizza. I think it's great. It's just these little, like, pizza stands. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it'd be like something like this, right? It'd be like in the subways and shit, right? So I love K&M Pizzas. And I still do get a slice from time to time. But I remember one time I walked to K&M Pizza, right? And it was a little cute girl working there. And she comes up. I say, yeah, let me get a pepperoni pizza, right? And she looks at me and she smiles. And her teeth was like black, dude. Like all her teeth was like black. I said, you know what? I ain't even that hungry. I'm all right. Cause look, if you can't even figure out how to brush your own teeth, I am not trusting you with preparing my food. All right. If you can't wake up and go water and then walk out the house, you don't reach the quality. Look, that is the minimum. That's so low of a qualification. You don't even put that in the job qualifications. Like, that's just something you should already know, right? That's something so low on the totem pole of finding a job. They shouldn't have to put in the ad, you must brush your own teeth, right? It's so low that you don't even put that in there. This bitch looked at me. She was cute at first, and I swear, she smiled. I remember I was at Leeching. It was a mall out there, and I came out the underground. Well, technically, well, yeah, it's a tram, but it comes above ground at the end. And I came out, and I remember I was like, yeah, let me get pepperoni, and it was not pepperoni. You say salami, 'cause they don't say pepperoni, they say salami, and and she was cute girl. She looked at me and she smiled, and her teeth was black. I immediately said, nah, I'm all right. I'm not even that hungry, because all that just hit. I would no, just no. Period. Full stop. Now I can tell just by how this woman's talking. Look, I would not trust vitamins that's been in her possession. All right, period. I wouldn't do it. I would not trust them. Right? Now, maybe somebody else would. Now, can she find enough people who would go out their way to buy some because she's gonna sell some vitamins more expensive than you can get it from the store, right? Could she find people who would pay above the price for vitamins every month to fulfill her monthly bills, right? I would say the only other way I could see it working is but she's really too old for that. So you know, like those pyramid schemes, like prepaid legal, or like them Cutco knives and shit. They're pyramid schemes. It's what it is. It just is what it is, right? And I mean, they could try to get me for slander for that, but I mean, but statistically speaking, I'm not saying anything negative. It's a pyramid scheme. It's literally how it's built up. One major tactic, what they used to do in these pyramid schemes was, in order to get, new people in there, like Mary Kay, shit like that, in order to get new people to come in, what they'll do is, okay, like 90 to 95% of people in these jobs never get any money. They just end up giving all the money to the company, buying all their products to sell, but they never actually sell it. And then what they do is to come off as looking good, as looking like a good product that will make them money one day. These pyramid schemes, they will get one attractive younger woman to speak somewhere to say, and they'll probably give her some money, right? So she actually believes that people can get paid from it, and she'll give a speech saying, hey, yeah, I was just a college dropout, and I decided to sell this bullshit makeup, and now I'm buying my third house in Cancun, and you can do it too, right? And they probably did give her some of the money that they stole from all the other people, so she actually believes it when she goes up there and says it, but that's what they do. Now, she's getting a little too old for that, because the women that they usually get are usually younger women who can have some competence in public speaking. She's too old for that, so I'm not even buying that. I don't even think that's a possibility for her. I think she's hooking OnlyFans, or got some rich guy paying her bill, something like that. She's maybe not even a rich dude, maybe just like an okay dude, who's letting her stay in his second house that he inherited, some shit like that. I'd say there's a very low chance that she's selling vitamins and living in Florida, feeding 3 kids. I highly doubt it. Even if they're great vitamins, I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. None of that adds up.
Story there from you, Diaz. Were you a fan or a hater? I can't remember. Was it something on my like clips or shorts somewhere you saw on social media that you liked or that you disliked?
I watched a couple of your clips, and I'm generally a fan of the flow of your content. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there was things I felt a little bit not spicy, like
something rubbed you the wrong way.
Yeah, and it wasn't even really rubbed me the wrong way. Your view and my view, they don't have to always be the same. You know what I mean? I'm very much open to that. But like even saying maybe you should submit, the word submit, I don't know.
I don't like that word.
Doesn't flow with me. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? It's not.
Because she never had to before. Because she was always young and skinny and hopping on different dicks in Vegas. She never had to submit. Somebody was lined up to give her something.
It's a different everybody has their own journey. That's just not something that I'm gonna have in my repertoire. And like I said, like you just said, maybe I could have kept my mouth shut for that. I don't know if I'm there yet. You know, I'm just.
Yeah.
Would you submit to the Sultan of Saudi Arabia or whoever
No.
it was that you described earlier if you saw you? Like you made
No.
you made reference about this like guy coming up, you know, this like knight in shining armor, you know, a sultan that would sweep you away when he would see you in your workout gear, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would
I
you
don't
submit
know.
to a man like that?
No.
I don't
She
know if
can't.
it's just the word submit. Like I know how to present myself in a, you know, in certain rooms, in certain situations. I understand, you know, how to read the room, but if we're together alone and you're telling me to not say a certain thing, to watch my language, to not be so fiery about something, you know, like, no, I want to have the conversation. I want to talk about it. Like, and I'm not a talk about all my feelings type girl, but I am still a little rough around the edges, and I don't know how much more polished I'm going to be in a enclosed environment.
Yeah, and that's why she's reached that age where she's just gonna be alone for 10 to 15 years because she has to accept that she's aged and she can't get away with that anymore. When she was younger, she could. Like my ex-wife's mom. When she was younger, she could do that. Some guy was always lined up right after the last one to come fuck with her. And it was a well-to-do dude too on top of that. Yeah. But at this point, she's 40. It's all she knows how to do. So she doesn't even know how to do anything else. Her pussy's calibrated for a certain type of guy. Her pussy's calibrated so she can act a certain way. She doesn't know how to do anything else. And on top of that, she grew up essentially on Mount Olympus. She grew up in the US, right? So there's very few men in reality that could ever live up to whatever she's developed in her head now, right? And even if she did come across this man, she's gonna fuck it up because she doesn't even know how to be in a decent relationship. There's nothing on her track record that says she does. Right? It's like a job applicant. Okay. And I use this example before. Let's say you ran a hospital and you looking for a brain surgeon, right? And Diaz comes in with her resume, or for those outside the US, she comes in with her CV, right? And on her resume or CV, she has 20 years of flipping hamburgers at McDonald's, right? And you say, Diaz, we looking for a brain surgeon. Why'd you come in here with this work history? And she goes, oh, well, I just figure it's time for a change. And and my last job was toxic because I put some too much ketchup on a burger. It was real toxic. See, yeah. But like if you give me this job as a brain surgeon, I won't fuck this up. Well, so tell me about your experiences with surgery. Well, between two of my burger flipping jobs, there was one time where I did become a brain surgeon, but we just stopped talking to each other, and that was it. Do you think Diaz would be a good candidate for your hospital to be a brain surgeon? No. There is nothing. No. Not at all. Not one bit. There's nothing about her history that says that. So well, I'm 40. I think I want to play wife now. Bitch, you're not a wife. You never were. It's done. You've missed it. All right? It's finished. You've created too many bad. Why don't jobs hire old people? The theory is why jobs don't hire older people is because they've created too many bad habits and lived with them for too long, and it's too hard to teach an old dog new tricks. Diaz is an old dog who thinks that she can just develop into new tricks. Right? And it doesn't work that way. You have no history doing this. Because there was a girl I was working with through my channel a while back. She asked me, she said, well, she was with a guy at the time. And she asked me, she goes, what if he breaks up with me and I'm like 35, 40? I said, well, at that point, you've had the history of actually being in a relationship, so this isn't your habit to do this, right? See, these Diaz types of women. See, look, she's already had two. Okay, she's at least been with one other with two other men now, right? She has two kids. Let's just say her first two children were by one man, right? So that was one man that didn't work out. She goes off with another man who was toxic, has another child. That relationship doesn't work out, right? Now she's alone, single. She has to sell her pussy on YouTube and hoping for Prince of Abu Dhabi to come and swoop her up, right? At 40. At this point, she just looks like a ball of this is a ball of craziness. This is a ball of madness. She's missed that boat. That boat is long gone. It's done. Any type of respectful relationship that's going to last a period of time is finished. It's done. She's missed it. It's done. Now, I'm not saying she can't find a relationship, because as long as she's just skinny and just acts like she has some common sense, at least for 15 minutes, some dude will put up with her. But for her to find the dream relationship that she's thinking of, that's long gone. That's completely long gone. That's just done. And it's not coming back. Ever.
Okay.
I'm going to Cabo next week, and we're having a yacht party with the CEO, and I'm in a mastermind invitational. And I know I'm going to have to keep my shit together and maybe not say so many bad words. And I'm going to dress nice, and I'm going to, be more ladylike. But I don't feel like that's submitting. I feel like that's just respecting the room and the energy.
Yeah. The only time she's going to be able to make it in a room is if she shuts the fuck up. She puts on a tight dress, shuts the fuck up, and smiles. That's the only time she'll be able to make it anywhere in life. If she can still pass for fuckable and shuts up. She just said it right there. And the other red flag is this. Okay, so let's just entertain her that she actually sells vitamins. Let's just which I don't believe it, but let's entertain this, right? And this is why I say there's no real good way out of when women just get older and they can't keep a man. There's no good way out of this explanation, right? Because, okay, let's entertain everything she said as 100% fact. She sells vitamins. She kicks ass at selling vitamins. She knows rich guys. She's getting ready to go to a yacht party and all this, right? If she's such a great catch, why aren't these yacht guys hooking up with her? Why aren't these guys? How come none of these other guys are fitting this dream man shit? None of her colleagues, none of the female friends that she knows, they don't know a guy. The guys who've seen her at work events, guys who know the yacht guy or the yacht company. How come none of these people? There's no viable solution anywhere in the world. You see, maybe it's not the yacht guys. Maybe it's not the rich guys. Maybe it's not the princes. Maybe the problem's Diaz. This is what I'm saying. There's no good way. When women get see, older bitches always love to use that, oh, well, I go to work events that are, this shit like, well, I work and I earn 6 figures and I can't get a man. See, there's no good way out of this. Especially as a woman. As a man, yeah, because it's always hard, as a man to find pussy. It can always be difficult for a man. But as a woman, look, you have the pussy, so you have choices, right? Again, I think she's full of shit. I think she's lying. Okay, either I think she's full of shit or she's lying, or she's severely unlikable once she starts talking, when she strings together any more than 6 words. I'd say 5. Oh, yeah, really? I thought so. Oh, yeah. The white bitches do what they hear. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right? As soon as she has to start talking, you will go from lust to disgust. There's a reason why she's on YouTube. There's a reason why she's a single mother at this age. That's not by accident. There's a reason why other women can find these yacht guys. There's a reason why other women are hooking up with princes and all this shit like that. And there's a reason why Diaz never did. There's a reason. That's not by accident. There's no such thing as was it what Sherlock Holmes said and what his brother said. Um, there's no such thing as coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence as a coincidence because the universe is never that lazy. I said, yeah. The universe would never be so lazy. Let's look that up real fast. There's no such thing as consequences. He said there's no such thing as consequences. The universe would never be so lazy. Hang on. The universe would never. Let's type that in. Oh yeah, there it is. The universe is rarely so lazy. That's it. Yeah, from the TV show. I'll probably get copyrighted for this, but let's play it anyway. Fuck it.
So, Sherlock, what do we say about coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
So,
we said it real fast. Hang on. Zoom in a bit.
So, Sherlock, what do we say about coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
So,
the universe is rarely so. You heard it there from Sherlock himself. The universe is rarely so lazy. It's not a coincidence that she's just this great, awesome person, and guys who are going to yacht parties and own yachts and all this shit, and she's around big earners, and it just never works out. The universe is rarely. What's up, Pug Plays? The universe is rarely so lazy. That's not a coincidence. There's a reason for that. She really think you have billions of women on this earth. She really thinks she's something special. Yeah. I'm gonna get off in a minute. It's 9:57. I'm gonna get off here in a minute. But I'm good, Pug Plays. What's up, man? How you doing? But yeah, with the yacht, I think she's lying. I don't buy that. I think she's lying. I don't think she's selling. She might be around people who sell vitamins, and she might have her name on some documentation saying that she can sell some vitamins. But she's not. I highly doubt she's selling enough vitamins to live off of in life. I highly doubt that. I seriously doubt that. Seriously doubt that. That sounds like some pyramid scheme bullshit. Highly doubt it. Severely doubt it. Or the whole, and then that whole next area that always comes up with older bitches that's been used up. Oh yeah, I hang out. I'm going to a party. I'm going to a get together with, and I'm a 6-figure earner, and I'm around other 6-figure earners. Well, how come none of those other 6-figure earners want you then? Why are you still sitting up alone? How come you can't make anything work if all your friends, your job, all this shit is around 6 figures? If you're worth 6 figures, how come you're not selling as a woman? Period. There's a reason why. You happen to have it. Yeah, I have Instagram. It's Wendell Radford. It's my name, Wendell Radford. I thought I put it in here somewhere. Maybe I didn't. But I have an Instagram. I don't post much. I don't really like social media, but I get on from time to time. But I don't post much unless something happens or something like that. But I do have an Instagram. But yeah, it's just that same. Like I said, now the girl on the bottom left, she strikes me as a little more educated, a little more, capable in the world kind of thing, right? And other parts of it is, I think another big part is just the whole online dating. One thing is a historical fact. Whenever women got to make too many decisions, things start becoming destroyed. And the dating world, mental health, the dating worlds, all this stuff followed suit when online dating started. And everybody's suffering because of it. I think the one on the bottom left, like I said, I think she'll be big as a house in 5 years. But I mean, with that being said, I think she definitely strikes me as at least a bit more polished and educated. Like I would believe her a little more if she said that she was doing something with vitamins, something like that. I could believe it a little more. I still wouldn't completely buy it, but it wouldn't sound completely as far-fetched. But the thing, it's life. You never really know about life. Anything can happen. But I've had my fair share of dingbats in my life to be able to have at least a little better eye of judgment on it. If I had to tell you to pick, well, right off the bat when the video first started, I told you the one on the bottom left would be the better choice. It's just from age alone, that would be the better choice. Because that older one, she's the other one, she's 29. She's up there already, so she's already got her habits. But the older one, she's done. Like I said, her best option is the hope she can just go somewhere, put on something skin tight, and shut the fuck up. Put on something skin tight, find a comb, and just shut the fuck up. And her life and copious amounts of bonus points if she just starts fucking. Just start fucking. And her life will improve tenfold. But as soon as she starts to talk, that's when she going back to work at the farm again. That's when she out there digging up hen shit. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. She gonna be out there digging up cow shit again when she start talking. That's what I bet you. If you look back on her life, that would be the course of her life. When she started talking too much, she's gonna be outside digging up shit. And once she shuts the fuck up and just puts on something tight, she'll be living in a nice house. And that's how it goes with most women. As soon as she starts talking too much, you see how horrible she is. Yeah. 80, what happened to your whole phase with them fat black women? No, YouTube took it. Oh, maybe. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it did. Yeah, I don't take down any videos. If the video's gone, it's because YouTube did it. I didn't do it. I'm too lazy to go back in my own videos and take shit down. I'm too lazy for that. So if video's gone, YouTube did it, not me. That was me. I just farted. It's female nature to consume. Too much consumption leads to destruction. Yeah. No. But yeah, that should have, man. Yeah. I said the bottom left. I say she would be the better. Just from age alone, she'd be the better option. Just from age alone, right off the bat, the age alone automatically keeps her in a much better standing. The one on the bottom right, she's finished, dude. Just like, maybe you can have a good conversation with. Like, I got a female friend like her right now, and like you can have a good conversation with her. And we talked I think like a week ago. And we were and she was asking me would I ever live with a woman again. I said no, not fully. I said like I can totally like you and all that, but I just would prefer to live down the street, right? Because and I had to explain to her how women just do this weird thing, how they just like watch you all the goddamn time, like a child. Like, but here's the thing: it's different when a child watches you or when a child does something stupid, even though it gets annoying. It's different when a child is like watching you or something like that, especially if it's your child. It's different, like they're watching you or following you around. But when it's a grown ass person doing it, it's fucking annoying, right? Like. It's nothing cute about it. It's annoying, right? And so I had to explain to her how women just always do that. They always have this like weird way of just like following and like stalking and monitoring you kind of thing, and it's just super fucking annoying. There's nothing attractive about it at all, right? And I would just prefer to live down the street. I mean, you can come and hang out for some days, but that's about it. I would prefer to just, because here's the thing. I know myself at this point now. I know even if a woman were to live with me, right, I would just go get another flat. I would just go get, I would just go somewhere and find somewhere else. Like even if my girl, she was to come here and fully move in with me right now, I know what I would do. What most men do is they'll just live at work. They just do overtime and and just chalk it up to doing a lot of hard work when really they just run away from their wife, right? That's what most men. Now I don't go and work a job, so like what I would have to do is I would just have to just go find another flat and run away to that and just blame it on something else. But that's all men. Once men get in a heavy relationship, that's what it turns into. Yeah. AD, my ex who left me in 2021 when she was 23 years old, is back a few months ago at 27. She gained a solid 30 pounds and the wall hit her. Damn. You go nuts. That sucks, man. The wall hit her at 27. That wall will hit at any age, man. There's no like definite age. I was just talking to my girl about this too, like how like some people like they age in different chunks, right? Like I was giving her an example, like Gene Hackman. I mean, make sure I'm talking about the right dude. Gene. Yeah, him. Gene Hackman is like Tommy Lee Jones. That motherfucker looked the exact same for like 40 years and then like just evolved into something else. Like you mean like a Pokemon? That motherfucker just changed. Like I like newer pictures of him was just completely something different. And like Tommy Lee Jones is the same way. Tommy Lee Jones has looked the same for the last 40 years, like the exact same. And all of a sudden he'll just like mutate into something else. Some people they age in different. Cause oh yeah, that's what we was talking about. We was laying in bed and we was talking about. She was saying black don't crack. That's what it was. And I said no, black cracks. She was saying black don't crack. I said no, but black cracks. The thing is like the world only remembers the black people who look amazing, and all the other black people just are forgotten into the abyss. The world only remembers Will Smiths and the black people who aged gracefully, right? Black cracks. Because the world usually doesn't grow unless they're like, in Africa or something like that. The world doesn't grow up with black people. So like by the time they see a black person, they're just seeing like the LeBron James, the Kobe Bryant, something like, like the one-offs that were like the greats, right? Who have the money to fix it. Or like the Jennifer Lopez's type of shit. She's really falling off for real, but she looks good for her age. They're only seeing like those, but they're not seeing like the reality of it. Because I grew up around black people, and yeah, black definitely does crack. But the thing is, like, we were talking about the difference between how like in the aging process, right? So like white women, well, okay, both white and black women age pretty much the same. In my opinion, I think they both age the same. The difference, okay, especially with women, it's like when they get older, either they shrivel up and become old witches, or they get fat, right? They never if you ever notice, like when white women age, like they very rarely like age weight proportionate the whole way. Like it either like completely, like they lose every sense of muscle mass and fat, and it just like ends up just sagging skin, or they just end up big as a fucking house. Like they don't, like very rarely do they just age in a weight proportionate body the whole time, right? Now, and black women do too. Black women do too. But I think in this context, the black don't crack means like it's a little harder to see some of the cracks just because the brown skin, but black cracks for sure. Like you just got to know what you're looking at. Because I was trying to explain to her, it all matters too, like how the person was dressed, like their dress style and shit like that. Like for example, a while back I did a stream with where it had, what's her name, Lisa Ray in it, and it had Trick Daddy, the old rapper Trick Daddy. And because Trick Daddy, the way he dresses, yeah, now he looks like he aged hard because he still dresses in that 90s style baggy shit, but he done lost weight, right, in his arms and shit, right? So like none of that really matched up well. Whereas like if you take, let's say like I'm thinking about what's that guy's name? He was real popular and he was on Far Cry. That brown dude. This dude, right? Now you take like like a black dude who's known to dress well, like in suits and shit. Well, like you don't notice that loss of weight as much, right? So it all depends on that dude's like that person's style and how they're addressing when they age. That plays a lot into it too. So for example, like let's go back to what Diaz, right? See, like you see, this bitch is 40. This bitch is 40, and her primary goal of catching men is doing what she was doing when she was 20, right? Putting on some skinny shit and going to the grocery store, putting on some workout leggings and going to the grocery. Now the bad part is at some point her body is just going to give out. She's not going to be able. Her body's not going to look great wearing leggings anymore. She's 40. She's luckily hit this point where it still looks good. I would guess just by judging how she looks from from tits up kind of thing. But at some point, she's not going to be able to get away with doing what she was doing when she was 20 at 45. It's just not going to work anymore. It may not be, but just she may still look good, but it's just going to be tasteless, right? And this is a hard thing for women to grasp. Like for example, a big thing in the style world, at least it was when I was coming up, was wearing gym shoes. Now, when you start getting into like more white collar worlds, it's known like, okay, you only wear gym shoes if you're going to the gym or you're going to like go walking, something, you only wear gym shoes if it's called to do something relatively, I don't say athletic, but more movement, right? But if you're not doing that, don't go. Don't I don't say don't do it, but it's kind in that white collar world. It can kind of be seen as kind of weird, kind of thing. Or don't wear like a jogging suit in certain areas, shit like that. Like only wear a jogging suit if you're going jogging, or or it's clear you're like sick, or something like that. Whereas the women were just used to pretty much wearing anything tight and getting away with it because you can just see woman's body in it, and that's welcomed anywhere as long as it's in shape, right? And that's a hard thing for aging women to grasp. Is like, this bitch is 40, still trying to walk around wearing Speedos to the gym. To the grocery store, right? See, at 20, she can get away with that. At 40, motherfuckers are going to start looking at you like, she's hot, but this bitch is 40. You too old to be doing this. Like going to the club at 40. You too old. It's done. Give it up. The women have a hard time with that. And at some point, her body's going to give out. She's not gonna maintain that shape. For either she's going looking at her, she's gonna deflate. There's a good chance she's just gonna deflate. Her body's gonna completely deflate, and she'll become skin and bones. In real life, I've never seen an Asian baby before. Word, I have. Has your girl learned more about herself that she wasn't aware of by being? Yeah. Yeah. Because that shit hurts. Trick Daddy aged hard. Well, like I said earlier, Trick Daddy aged hard because he was still trying to dress up like he's still, well, at least in that show, he was dressing like he was fucking 28 still. Or now I won't say 20, I say like 25, 24, 25. And he's like fucking 50 now. Like he's old. He's an older dude. He'd be like my dad, he's what, 68. He'd be like him walking around wearing basketball jerseys without the sleeves, and like it doesn't fit his age demographic. He's gonna look weird just walking out chilling like that, right? It's just not, unless he's going to like a basketball game or something like that. It doesn't fit anymore, and a lot of people struggle with that. But I think women struggle harder with it because they were used to just being desired just because they were a woman, and actually now having to put in thought is catastrophic for them. Whereas men can have problems with it too, but men will also be like, okay, well, that's just it. Maybe I got to just own it, or or change a little bit, right? And a man's swagger can still work over it, right? Whereas a woman's swagger really can't. It's not gonna work. Okay, in terms of being desirable, especially to the men that she wants, it's not going to work anymore. Okay. A man walking around, she's 40, so she's going to want a man who's at least 45. A man walking around who's 45 who has his shit together is not is okay. First, he's going to be able to hear her talk and hear what I've heard in her. There's clearly a lack of education, right? She can pretend, but you can usually tell really fast, right? She's still walking around in gym shit, right? Still walking around in gym shit. Not a great start. She's gonna have a hard time. And then watch, the dude she settles for is gonna be some regular old dude. How much I will guarantee that. Like my ex-wife's mom. The dude she settled for, he was a cool dude too. Yes, because any guy that this woman's really gonna want is gonna be going after what she was 20 years ago. 68 wearing kids' clothing, yeah. That shit, it'll just look weird. Yeah, like men's style is a big thing, man. And women suffer more because a lot of women's style revolves around showing off their curves. And they don't know how much is going to make them look slutty, how much is going to just look awkward. Like another big weird thing that I'll see in Prague is you'll see a lot of women who will. I remember I was on a tram one time and I looked up and it was this woman, like I was sitting down, this woman was standing up next to me. And she had on like knee-high boots, knee-high, high-heel boots, right? And her legs looked good. And she had on a nice shirt, and she had like I think they call it like a pencil skirt, right? But then when you see her face, her chin, she was older, and her chin was like sagging, and her face was aged, right? And the only thing that didn't go together, it was like her face did not match everything else. And it's so awkward when you see older women like that because like they think people are staring at them because they look good when really they're people are staring at them because they just look weird. Right? And it just really just like, and that's the real hard part too with women. It's like they think if people are staring at them, that people are staring at them because they look good. And more times than not, especially if the woman, okay, here's the thing. And here's something that women really have to understand, like in the world, anywhere you go. If people are staring at you and you're over the age of 30 as a woman, usually it's not for a good reason. Usually, okay. It's especially if you're not getting like actively approached by men kind of thing. If they're staring at you, overall, it's usually not for a good reason. Right? Something's off. So, I mean, most cases, I would say the majority of times, it's not for a good reason. It's usually because she's trying to dress and it's not fitting. And motherfuckers are like, what the fuck is going on with you? Is Prague good to visit during October, weather-wise? Yeah. This year, it hasn't gotten that hot or cold at all. Wintertime or summertime. It just got hot these last couple of days, and today actually wasn't that bad. Yesterday was kind of hot, but today wasn't that bad. The news is just, I don't know what the news is doing, but they're just completely lying and fucking up because they're saying like this is like the hottest summer ever, and no. Last week, we were wearing jackets outside. Sweaters or jackets outside. It just got hot yesterday. Was it Monday or Tuesday? It just got hot. So like, don't pay attention to the news about over here because they're just clearly making shit up and lying. Like I said, we were wearing jackets and coats last. I haven't even thought. I got a fan over there. I haven't even thought to pull it out, and it's more than halfway through June. I got a fan sitting right over there. Haven't even thought to pull it out and turn it on. I got 2 air conditioners in the other room. Haven't even thought to pull those out at all. I don't know where they're getting these stats from, but they're just not right about like the record-setting temps in at least in Prague. I don't know where they're getting that from. I've heard the UK is hitting a heat wave of 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which could be true because they get a lot of rain out there a lot. So that could, I don't know, that could be true. But in Prague, no. This year it's been cool. But to answer your question, last October was totally fine. Since I've been here, it usually doesn't get cold until like the start of January. Since I've been here, but this past year, I think snow only stuck maybe a week. It didn't get cold, like I said, till about January, and even then it wasn't like horrible. To answer your question, yeah, October, you'll be fine. October, it's not gonna be cold or hot. The Biden administration spreading lies about weather, yeah. Yeah, because I've been seeing on Facebook, they said that this is going to be the hottest summer in Prague to date. Fuck no, dude. I don't know where. And people are commenting saying, like, where are you getting this shit from? Because this is just a lie. Like I said, again, last week, I got on shorts right now. I got on peach shorts. I got on shorts right now. This was the first time I wore shorts all year. Yeah. They're just lying about weather. I've heard America's gotten pretty hot, but they could be lying about that. But I don't know. Vegas is always horrible. And Paradise. I remember when I opened a weather app and it said Paradise when I was in Vegas. And it was like fucking 120 goddamn degrees. I'm about Paradise. The fuck you call this shit Paradise? It's 116 degrees. So damn hot the escalators stop working. Vegas gets so fucking hot. For those of you who have been to Vegas, they have escalators outside. And have this kind of I don't know if you call it a monorail system, but like some type of like tram system. And it gets so hot in Vegas, the escalators outside just stop working. They just overheat, just be like, fuck it. I remember it was so hot in Vegas. I thought I was going to beat the system and go out at night. It was hot as fuck at night, bro, when the sun is gone. It was like the heat forgot to go back with the sun. Like the heat forgot to leave. I remember I walked out the hotel and it was still hot as fuck. I'm like, I thought I beat the system in this motherfucker. I thought I was smart. Then he said, fuck you. You thought you figured it out, didn't you? No, you didn't. It's still hot. Fuck you. Now go buy one of these $8 waters. Fuck Vegas. I would never go back to Vegas. Fuck that shit. Y'all could keep that. There is nothing about Vegas that I would ever think would be a good idea to go back, unless like somebody would have to pay me a good amount of money to go to Vegas. I would never go on my own accord. Just be like, yeah, you know what? I think I should go to. No, never. I would never go anywhere near Vegas. It's a waste of fucking time. Don't get me started on Vegas. Hot shit. Yeah. I would never go, dude. Fuck that shit. I think it's something you should go at least one time just to see it. And when you fly in, pretty much from any direction, you're going to go over a desert. So if you've never flown over a desert, it's something cool to see. And then we drove there from Vegas to Los Angeles. So you just drive through desert the whole goddamn way, which I would never do. Well, I didn't even drive. A friend of mine drove because that's when I found out I had driving anxiety on the highways. That was the start of it. So he actually drove the whole way. I just like sat in the back seat, just like tried to lay down, and ignore the scenery kind of thing. But yeah, I would recommend anybody do it one time just to see it. Don't gamble. I gambled a little bit. I think I lost like $30. Yeah, it's just a waste of time, man. It really, because when you go there, at first it's like, oh wow, this is a casino. This is what people are talking about. These are casinos, right? It's like, wow, like because I remember the first time I walked around it, because the casinos. So what the okay, so for those who have been to Vegas, I thought casinos would be like their own like building, right? And the hotels are just hotels. So how it generally is in Vegas, from when I was there. Every hotel is essentially a casino on the first floor, right? Every hotel you see, the first floor, and then it could even go like basement levels. Every hotel room, the first floor is the casino, right? So you can't go outside without going through a casino. right? But here's the thing, even like the culture of casinos out there is just different. Like when you get to the airport, you're gonna see slot machines. Like it's just something totally different. If you're from like Ohio, like me, it's something totally different. When you just walking through the airport, getting out the motherfucker, you're gonna come across just rooms with casinos, with slot machines, shit like that everywhere. So um, but yeah, when I first seen, I was like, oh wow, this is what people talk about. Like this isn't like the atmosphere is nothing like what they show in movies, where it's like a million people there and everybody's having fun. Oh yeah, put $4,000 on black. Yeah, oh you won, woohoo! Yeah, that's how movies show it. And I was like, this is nothing like the movie. Like it's fucking empty. You know what I mean? Like, for the most part, you have some areas where it can be like a little foot traffic, but for the most part, like, it's mostly empty, right? And you can go to areas where there are more expensive casinos. Like, wow, I didn't think people gambled that much. It's like, wow. But then when you start to see the trend, it's like, okay, it's the same shit, right? You could get free drinks. If they see you gambling, they're gonna come around to you and they say, "Hey, you want a drink?" Yeah, yeah, I'll take this and that. And then the waitress goes back to get you a drink, because they're gonna get you. Because the whole plan is to get you drunk so you keep fucking gambling. Because the drinks are free, right? But the plan in certain in most casinos, I think the drinks are gonna be free. But the plan is to get you drunk so you sit there and just keep gambling. That's the plan, to get the money back for the drinks, right? And yeah, again, it's one of those things I think everybody should try one time. And like I said, I went back a second time, and I went back a second time with another friend of mine, actually the friend of mine who was renting my flat, because he ended up becoming like the head dude over Planet Fitness over the East Coast, right? So they had a meeting in Vegas, and he asked me if I wanted to go, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll go, right? And he paid for most of the shit under his program, right? I remember I took my Nintendo Switch with me. And the first night we went out, and that's when I got the edibles and I got fucked up off edibles. Pretty fucked up. I remember I was like, so I couldn't even stand up straight. I was like, I remember I sat down in a chair in one of the, this is when dispensaries were new. And I sat down in a dispensary like later that night. Earlier, we went to another dispensary when I first got there. And then later that night, we went to another one. And I was so fucked up off of edibles. I remember sitting down in this chair and I was so scared because I couldn't get up. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, what if he's going to want to leave? And how am I going to tell him I can't get out of this chair? I couldn't stand up. Because we were I don't even remember where we were, but we were in a dispensary, and we were in line, I think, to get some weed and edibles, because he was getting these vanilla wafer cookies. He was eating those. They were edibles, and some kind of we had to wait. And I remember thinking like, oh God, thank goodness I could sit down. That was a mistake because I couldn't get up. But we ended up waiting for like 20, 30, I think it was like 20, 30 minutes. And then I ended up getting about the chair. I remember we stood outside waiting for an Uber, and I remember thinking like it felt like I couldn't even stand up straight. I was fucked up. But after that, there was nothing really else to really talk about, man. After that, I just stayed in the hotel room. I didn't even want to leave the hotel room. I just I stayed in my bed and just played Mario Odyssey on my Nintendo Switch. I thought it was boring. And on top of that, I'd already been in Europe. I've been to brothels. I've done, I've traveled to different countries. Vegas was a huge step backwards for me. On top of that, how expensive it is, right? You come to Europe, you can do all that shit for fucking a quarter of the price, right? I mean, you can find expensive places here, but you can do that shit. So I found Vegas to be ultimately just a huge waste. I literally stayed in my bed. I didn't get out the bed very often, maybe just to walk down the street, something, because it was hot, right? I just thought it was a waste of time. I could not recommend it any more than one time for anybody to go, unless you just like to gamble. There was one movie, actually me and my girl was watching it. I can't remember the name of it. It was a movie with Bill Burr in it, because she said there's this guy. She said there's this movie I want you to watch, and this guy, he's just like you. and it was Bill Burr. And they went to Vegas. And in that movie, how they show Vegas, that's the real Vegas. Empty as fuck. A couple old people gambling here or there. You know, everything's super empty. That was the real. When they shot that movie, that's how Vegas really looks. And I said, and I told her, because the TV's up there, I said, yeah, that's how Vegas actually looks when you go. It's not like an Iron Man where like they was gambling and the tables filled with like 30 people and they'll look, you know, they're all partying and shit and drinking woo and all that. I mean, I'm sure it happens, but it's not like you're not gonna go there and see that shit. You mean like if you decide to fly like right now to go see, you're not gonna see it. What's up, DMG? In the I don't remember seeing slot machines in the like I said, I stayed in my hotel room, so I can't really say a lot about the toilets. But yeah, I just didn't care for. I just don't care for Vegas. I think Vegas is one of those. Vegas is like a Florida. Like people who aren't from there and like go there and don't have any other identity in life. Well, I still got like I'm talking about this woman. I'm talking about just people in general now. Vegas is like Florida. Vegas is a place where people who aren't from there like to go there to tell people back home that they went to Florida. Right. But people who are from Florida usually don't care. People who are from Vegas don't care. You wouldn't even know it until they get to talking. Right. But it's usually the people who like were from Ohio who went to Vegas, who like to go, who like to tell people back in Ohio, yeah, I was in Vegas. Right. Like that type. And that's what Florida is. Florida is the same thing. Now, places like New York is a little bit out of, let's say, like Ohioans, like, you know, in my opinion, I think New York is like the ultimate step up. California, I put New York and California in that same boat. They're the ultimate steps up. But like I think Florida and Vegas are like the easier go-tos kind of thing, because it's more like easier to just kind of do shit. Like for example, if you go to New York City, it's not a lot for you to really do in New York. If you really think about it, there's not a lot to like really do as a tourist, right? Like walk in Times Square, ride a train, and it's not like a tourist destination, right? Like there's nothing you can really. So when you go to a place like New York, that's not a vacation place, right? Like a place like Vegas or Florida could be like a vacation place, because you could go there and there's always somebody else there on vacation, right? You don't go to New York City to go on vacation, right? Right? Maybe if you're like from Europe or something like that, and you know, because New York is, you know, the main place everybody knows about North America. But New York, there's not like, you know, New York is not a tour. New York is not a place you go to relax, right? Right. So I think that's why New York is a little bit above. I will put California pretty much in the same boat. I put California, the little areas that I've been to in California, I will put it in the same boat. It's not really much you can really do in California. It's a place you go where you already know somebody who's there, kind of thing, and they can kind of take you like, you know, like little shopping mall shit like that. You know, it's like in California, like a beach, something like that. But it's not like a Vegas is a place where you go to relatively like relax. Florida is a place where you go to a beach and relax. You're gonna find a beach in Florida, right? I was in Jacksonville. Never recommend Jacksonville. It was awful. It wasn't awful, but it just wasn't, you know. Yeah, I just wouldn't recommend it. It was pretty much just Cincinnati 1.5 kind of thing. New York is overpriced. California is pretty expensive as well, but the weather's better. But yeah, California. I liked California's weather for sure, because it never gets like too cold there, from what I understand. Said Vegas is hot and literally only has 2 cities, and the rest is the desert. Yeah. I'm playing a flight simulator now. Actually, I set up triple monitors. It's a ghetto triple monitor. I'll show you real fast. It's a ghetto triple monitor setup, but I set it up just because I was bored. Hang on, let me make the screen bigger so you can see. And I'm playing flight simulator now, and I tried to fly through fucking. There's the triple monitor setup right there. I got to put it's ghetto as fuck, but I just did it just to do it because I was bored. And it's actually kind of difficult to do when they're all different resolutions. But I'm flying through. I tried to fly from Vegas to LA to LAX, and I got lost. So I'm like, Actually, I might fire it up tonight and try to see if I can find LAX. I got completely lost. I flew all the way through the desert from from Vegas to California because it's all like real time space. So like it takes you like an hour to do it. But I got lost. I can't find LAX, and the maps are awful. I'm playing FS. I'm playing Flight Simulator X, just because it's just fast to load, fast to do. It's just fast. So I prefer the older Sims versus the newer Sims because they're already patched out. Everything's already there. You don't have to really, or if it's not there, somebody else has made a mod to fix it. So like I prefer the older Sims versus the newer Sims because the newer Sims are still constantly fixing it and fucking it up. You know, I had Flight Simulator 2020. I forget why I got rid of it. Oh, because it just took way too much space. That's why I got rid of it. What plane do you fly? It's Cessna. The one with 2 propellers is Cessna. I like the propeller ones just because they add. Cause I don't like flying military planes. Military jets, you're just always doing like, was it 500 knots or whatever the fuck? You're always doing like 500 to 700. You're just always going like super fast in a straight line. Like I want like a little more like movement in my flight, to make it like I really prefer like the single propeller planes because it just adds that level of like difficulty of control because for those who don't know, since the propeller's always going one way, like it's always going to kind of like pull at least a little bit to that direction kind of thing. So I prefer flying propeller planes versus like either commercial airliners or like or jets because they're just too easy, honestly. The only thing I do like to do, which I was joking with my girl with this, I was flying. We were talking about the movie Flight, right? So I was trying to explain to her, like, at least in a simulator, like flying those big, like the commercial airliners, those things are big and heavy. So like as soon as you start to fuck up and you fuck around and lose too much speed or something like that, like you can't just catch that like you can a small plane. You can just like literally just aim it straight up in a simulator. You can just aim it straight up to the sky and it will just keep climbing until it stops and you'll just like fall. But you can fix it and save it, and be all right. Them bigger planes, you do that, you fuck around and just hit an incline that's a little too hard, and you fuck around and lose that shit, and it starts doing this. Even if you 30,000 feet in the sky, it can still be difficult to get that motherfucker if you can get it back to level off, right? You fuck around and hit that shit wrong. So I showed her, like, I did some emergency landings in it, just like intentionally fucking up my plane to do it, right? And I and I joked with her. I said, yeah, like, so next time we go to the airport, just tell them I did Flight Simulator X. And I can lay in the plane. But yeah. Yeah. 80 got the soul place. Yeah, it's a ghetto. Like I just did it with parts I had with things I had laying around. Because now here's the thing with the Flight Simulator X, it was actually pretty simple to make that multiple monitors, but in driving sims, it could be pretty difficult because like many games will say that they support triple monitors, but they really don't. They just support like an ultra wide resolution, but they don't support actual 3 different like for example, Project Cars 2. That game completely shocked me at how well it did triple monitor setups. Just immediately just did it. Automobilista 2 took some tinkering to get that right. Assetto Corsa took some tinkering to get that, a little bit of tinkering, but that was pretty much good. Now, Assetto Corsa Competizione, that was a fucking hassle. And when you look up forums about it, most people just give up on it. Now, I did figure it out. I figured it out yesterday or day before yesterday, and I got it running on properly on triple monitors. But it's not an easy thing. Like you would think it'd be easy just because like if you just plug up an extra monitor, you could just extend this display and just put a window over there. But like to make a game run like that, it can be, especially on 3 monitors that are not identical. It was definitely not the easiest thing to do for sure. Ace. Nice. I'm horrible with names, man. The only reason I remember Cessna is because everybody says Cessna. But it's the one with the 2. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of it. But I'm horrible with names, man. Not this. I do the one with 2 propellers. Let's do 2. Yeah. This is the one I do in Flight Simulator. Can you see that? Yeah. That's when I do. That's usually my go-to. Usually something like that is my go-to. Like especially when I just like, just start out, just something with. I usually go immediately for just like a 2 propeller plane, just because I like the. Like I said, with a jet, if once you start using any type of like jet engine, like any type of turbine, well, it's just easy. It's just that's just easy. Like anybody can figure out how to take off. Landing is always, if you don't know how to do them, landing can always be a challenge. But taking off is like just depending on which one. Sometimes you got to hold the brake and ramp the throttle up. Sometimes you just take straight off. It just depends on the plane, or how much runway you got. But landing was like rough, dude. Landing was hard. That took a while. I started out on DCS actually, and landing was like that's what kicked my ass for the last. I just tried to just ignore landing, right. I remember when I got to the point where I could land like 2 out of 10 times. I was happy. Now I can do it like I could just see a landing strip like, yep, I'm landing there and be fine. But at first, dude, I could not land at all. Anybody can take off any plane, but landing is the part that's going to kick most people's ass at first. But you want to know how I learned how to land in a flight simulator? It was one flight simulator that had this training, and it explained it. Pretty much, you got to get at like if you're on a proper elevation area on Earth, you gotta get it to like 3,000 feet, but you gotta be, I would say probably about 3 nautical miles out, and like slowly, like, you gotta put the flaps down, take down the throttle to like 60 then like 20%. I just take it all the way down and just move it up as I go along. But yeah, that one training module taught me how to land planes. Taught me how to land most planes after that with decent efficiency. Now I'm not saying I can land a real plane in real life. I'm definitely not saying that. But a simulator, that was an accomplishment for me for sure. But yeah. No, I always end up going back to just cars, man. I always end up going back to racing sims. I'm probably gonna launch up Flight Simulator to try to find the LA airport tonight, because I don't feel like playing a racing game right now. I just want to just coast. I think I will do that. I'm gonna do that right now. So if nobody has anything else, I'm gonna get out of here. And on top of that, Flight Simulator X just loads. I had X-Plane, but I don't know. After I finally played Flight Simulator X, I just liked how fast it loaded. It just loads so fast. It's not 200 gigs of space. It's lightweight. It works. It's not like hyper detailed like Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, but it does what it's supposed to do, right? And I end up just deleting X-Plane. I had X-Plane, I just deleted it because it just took up too much space. And I had Flight Simulator, I deleted that, or I had 2020, but it just takes up too much space for what it is and for what I'm looking for. So I just stuck with Flight Simulator X. It's a 20-year-old game, and it does its job. The old simulators, I prefer the old simulators to the new ones, man. They're just lightweight. They don't take up a lot of resources. They do what they're supposed to do, and they load super fast. And that's all I need, because I'm not in it for the graphics. Even though Flight Simulator 2020 does look great, I'm not really there for the graphics. My thing. That's not really why I'm there. I'm more there just to pilot it. But yeah. I'm gonna get out of here because it's 10:45 here. 10:45 p.m. So yeah. Thanks for everybody who tuned in, liked, commented. I'll let y'all go, man. Have a good day, evening, night, and I'll catch you on the flippity flip, man. Peace out.